Salutations, welcome to the Man of Our Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Andy Rose, and I'm here with Jackass Party and Matt Samarco.
Hey.
He called me a jackass because I was mimicking him when
he
he
was
was singing.
Doing his stupid Dan shit. How are you, Matt?
I'm doing fantastic.
Oh, not DJ shit, just Dan shit.
Yeah, you don't deserve that title right now.
Here to do a podcast.
All right. So if I'm an asshole, I'm just asshole, not DJ. All right.
Oh, man.
Or could be DJ the asshole.
It's kind of one and the same.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's all the same person.
Yeah, it's all me. It's all me.
How's everybody doing?
Pretty good. How you doing?
Aside from the kind of
Andy?
unfortunate news today.
Lots of unfortunate news.
Just
Lots
one.
of bad news.
Lots. I only had one piece of unfortunate news. Is it non-video game related or?
No, I just wanted to be dramatic.
Oh.
I didn't have any good follow-up.
Oh.
I was hoping you wouldn't ask any
I did.
questions of me.
Because I'm hosting a podcast
I was
where we
basing it
discuss things.
on the news that happened.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. But then he said there was more.
Oh, I don't know about the more.
And I got not jazz because bad news is bad news, but I'm like, ooh, Matt's got something under his sleeve. Bringing it to the table. Now the table's empty.
Matt has created a Jeopardy thing for us. No? All right. It's worth a shot.
Matt's not that proactive.
Fair.
Yeah, so what's happening this week, huh?
Nothing. I mean, well, actually, a lot of news things happen, but let's start with what you guys have been playing. Dan, I know you've been making it a point to play less COD with me and more story-based
Well, that's Call of
games.
Duty.
That's
For
Call of
those that
Duty.
don't know.
I could have been talking about fish and chips. You don't know.
Yep.
And more story-based games.
Yes.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about those?
Yes, so I finished Celeste on the Switch, and it was absolutely fantastic. Anybody that likes platformers, you have to play this.
I did favorite it on the Switch store, so it'll. I don't know if it. I don't think it alerts me when it's on.
It's a short game.
sale.
I'll just let you borrow it. I should have brought it today. I should have thought of that, but because it's one of those
Only
games.
let me borrow one game at a time.
Well, then I'll take back Control.
Okay.
That sounds weird, but I'm going to take the game back. Control.
Control my game library for me.
Anyway, Celeste it's pretty quick. It probably took me about 12, 13 hours. I died about 1,500 times. So
That's literal,
You
right?
will die a lot. So it is one of those games where
Sounds frustrating.
it is frustrating, but it's again, I hate to say this, I already said it before, but it's like the Dark Souls of platformers. It is meant to be a challenge. When you finally land and get to the next area, you feel like, all right, I really, they designed this really well and to be really, really tricky.
Did you call it that last week? Is that why you're saying that again? Didn't we?
I think I called it on something else. Maybe I did. I don't know. But either way, it was absolutely
go on.
fantastic. If you are ever if you work in an office and need a soundtrack to listen to, throw on the Celeste soundtrack. It is extremely relaxing. I did that while I was at work, and it's amazing, the soundtrack. The story, surprisingly, it was great as well. Usually in one of those 8-bit or modern 8-bit kind of games, they don't really throw out a really engrossing
You have
story.
to really stand out now.
Yeah,
the market's pretty, I would say, overflooded with those types of games. I around the time I got PS Plus, when I got my PS4, I started noticing that a lot of the free games or cheap games every month were a lot of 16-bit style games, and at first it was kind of like, oh my god, this retro wave is coming back, and then it's like, oh wow, you really have to sift.
Through the
for
best
every
ones,
Dead Cells and Celeste, there's a insert crappy.
Yeah, there's some middle of the pack ones, but
Yeah, I can't even count how many PS Plus games I've never even downloaded.
Yeah.
that I didn't own. I just didn't feel like playing them.
Switch store is even worse.
I can
Not with
imagine.
just 16-bit, just in general,
Yeah,
what
it's
do they
hard to
call it?
even curate the store and figure out what you want to buy, just because it's all just shovelware nonsense.
Shovelware. That's the term
That's
I
it.
was thinking of. Thank you.
yes, that originally started with the friggin' Wii. With all
Yeah,
the third-party
I've heard
games.
nothing but amazing things about Celeste, so it doesn't
Yes.
surprise me that
It was fantastic. But and then on top of that, if you really want to challenge, they have for some reason you have strawberries all around the levels, and they're even harder to get. They don't give you
Like
anything.
a collectible thing to do after
Yeah, it's
the
just a
game's
collect.
over?
No, it's like I'm trying to think of like remember like Donkey Kong, you'd have to spell out KONG, but they would be tougher to find.
Oh, it's like for each level, there's a certain amount of strawberries you have to find.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You don't have to. They don't do anything. At least with when you found the Kong, they gave you like bonus or
It
whatever.
gives you the satisfaction that you found them all.
That is true, but that's more for like bragging rights. Like, oh hey, I found most of the strawberries in this area, but they're really hard to get. Like some of them, I just couldn't figure out. I was like, I'll come back to that maybe.
Without Nintendo having a trophy system, you kind of have to be like actually into it to want to do any of those things.
Oh, absolutely.
Like
But
Zelda, when I was trying to collect all the seashells.
yeah,
Yeah, does
Still
it even
went away.
does it even count if you can't show other people that you've done it?
no, I mean,
Yeah, to
I
me it
mean,
does.
for yourself, like it's like, oh yeah, I got a lot of these, and I think in the
It's like
end,
if a tree falls in the wood thing. It's like no one can hear it, no one can see it.
Yo, well, my memory card has GTA San Andreas 100%ed in the other room, and I don't care who can hear it. I'll tell you,
Okay.
it happened.
But either way, the good news is, like I said, you don't have to do it. It doesn't give you a bonus. It's not like it's, something that changes her outfit. It would be neat if it was cosmetic, but then again, it's 8-bit. It doesn't really matter. So, but I was just shocked by the story. I really thought it was just going to be platformer and that's it. But you grow to like really care about the characters and
Looked very psychedelic on the screen. I was watching like the little Switch. You can like preview the game on the Switch store. It'll
you can
give
try
a
it.
Tiny little no, not demo. I'll give you like a little preview video.
oh, okay.
And it looked very psychedelic with what was going on. There's just a lot happening, a lot of color palettes.
It depends on what area you're in, but yeah, it's it's like I said, I knew it was good. I just didn't know it was going to be that good. Especially with I'm not really into it. It kind of has to be one of those big name games for the 8-bit modern. What do they call that? The 16-bit games that are like modernized. Is there how shovelware is for crap? Don't they have like a term for
Retro?
retro mod? Well, it's retro, but like new. They just made it.
I don't know. There's not really a term for it, but like things like Octopath Traveler, Dead Cells, like things that utilize that technology, but you can tell that it's not running on the same
Yeah,
hardware
you can almost
that it
tell like
used to.
the little characters like breathing. You're like almost.
I guess modern retro?
Modern
I don't know
retro?
if there's a term for it.
It sounds like an
Modern
oxymoron.
retro. Sure, let's call it that. We made it here.
Mod
You
ret.
heard it here first.
It's the freezer burn of video game genres.
But anyway, so like Dead Cells and all those, Shovel Knight I wanted to try. So, but anyway, yes. So Celeste was a definite. So if you have a Switch, take a look at that. And if you love platformers, the other game I'm very close to beating, Matt would probably know, is Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Ooh, that's a fun game. I would
yeah.
not know. I haven't played those games in years, so I don't know
okay.
where things are.
I have
just
to
know
be.
that
It's
they're
getting
fun.
to a like a point. But it's essentially like an Uncharted game. It's like, oh, okay, these things have now come out, so now I know I've got to be towards the end of the game. But I'm really liking that game. There's so much stuff to do on the side. Holy God. If you want to kill all like the exotic animal things and get their furs and upgrade all your weapons and I like the fact that you can through the game. There's like camps, fire camps that you can save at, and then you can teleport back to. Or not teleport. You can fast travel back to. So it kind of makes the Tomb Raider game kind of like a Metroidvania, sort of. That you can go back and hey, I didn't have this piece of gear before, but now I can get into that dungeon and finish it, or not dungeon, Tomb Raider. So that makes it neat. Like, I remember there was something I could have gotten at the very first area of the game. So it kind of makes you want to go back. My only problem is I don't want to do that because I have the next one in the series. So at this one, I just kind of want to beat it just to get to the next one and then go all out.
I think that's what worried me when I played the last game I played like that was Bloodborne, where it's like, oh my God, there's so many directions I could go in. I have to do a lot of backtracking. I get so concerned because it's that not to always use this as the example, but it's I guess I could just call it the type of gamer I am, where like I need to look at every nook and cranny of a place. Like
Completionist is the term he's avoiding.
I don't know if it's a completionist
No, it's-
mentality though, because I don't complete a lot of things.
Well, you're one of those people that like if there's a branching like like a dungeon, you go left and right. You go the wrong way on purpose. Like
Try to.
Yes, you go
'cause
the
I
wrong
want
way on
to
purpose.
Look at every nook and cranny. Like Control, I was doing that, and there really wasn't even anything to find in Control. You could find these like files and
Yeah,
stuff
you can
like
find
that.
little things.
But it's like I was like really looking around. It's like all right. Seems like most of this is empty. Seems like it's mostly just boxes. We'll go on. But
Boxes of boxing. Be sure if you start losing the story in Control a little bit, don't read the journals. You'll find them everywhere, especially towards the end of the game.
Yeah, I was
There's
kinda
a
just
lot
skimming
of
them.
reading.
Yeah.
They're neat. Like some of the experiments that they do are kind of neat, but like if they start getting into some crazy stuff, it's just keep going with it. I'm at that point now with Tomb Raider where at the beginning I was like, oh, like I want to hear these like radio calls between people and, Lord Croft has said something. Now I'm just like skip.
Yeah,
skip,
those stories
skip.
didn't really leave an impression on me. I don't really think there was so much. It was more about the gameplay.
Yeah, the
Exploration.
gameplay is fantastic, and like I said, the story in general is really neat. So the sub stories I don't really need to be hooked on that.
First Tomb Raider?
No,
Second.
that's Tomb Raider definitive.
You said you had another one to play.
Yeah, Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Yeah, it's a trilogy.
That's the
I
last one.
thought this is the modern Tomb Raider.
Yeah, so there's
there was
Tomb Raider.
3 of them?
Yeah. So it started with PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. Then the first one for the next gen was the one for Xbox, Rise of the Tomb Raider. Then
What came before Rise of Tomb Raider?
Tomb Raider, definitive, or Tomb Raider.
I think I thought those were the same game. Those two.
Oh no, there's Tomb Raider, then
You
Tomb
were
Raider
laughably
Rise.
wrong, Andy.
There's Rise of the Tomb Raider, and then there's Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Shows how much I cared about that series.
So that's the thing, though.
They were fun, but no one bought them.
They're really, they're really fun. They're really well done. I mean, you can pick like whether you want to do resolution or like frame rate.
I was gonna say it's not Tomb Raider without those like really horrible polygon triangle boobs.
Oh God.
That's all I
Or
remember.
There's just
amazing.
there's a lot to offer with this game, and I'm surprised and shocked that this game didn't sell really well, considering it just nails a lot of things like right.
I think it might have been marketing because, like, coming from someone like, granted, you two are, I would say, a lot more plugged in on kind of the comings and goings of video games and the news and whatnot. But like, I had no idea that it was even a trilogy. I don't remember. Like, it was kind of like in passing. I would know that one was coming out. Kind of like Matt, you were saying a couple of weeks ago when those Transformers games were coming out for the last gen. You kind of knew about them, that they were out, but you really didn't know anything about them or
Yeah,
really
super
were
not on my
interested.
radar about something that I would want to play.
Yeah.
Well, it might have gone under the radar due to the fact that it started last gen, then they just remastered the last gen one and put it out on PlayStation just to get like, hey, there's a Tomb Raider game on PlayStation 4. Then that other one, Rise of the Tomb Raider, was exclusive for 1 year. And I wonder if that hurts it because Dead Rising 4 did the same thing where it was 1 year for Xbox One,
yeah.
and then when it came out on PlayStation, nobody was that excited.
Yeah, we all moved on.
Yeah, it was. Everyone's already moved on at that point, and they don't need it. And for the people that were getting Rise of the Tomb Raider with all the DLC for PlayStation,
I remember that really pissed me off because I was really into. I've been into the Tomb Raider game since the first one came out, and then I really enjoyed the first one, and then the second one, Rise of the Tomb Raider. They said they were going to really kind of lean into the like tomb raiding aspect of it. Mm-hmm. So that game has a lot more tombs in it than the first game, which like excited me because those are always my favorite part of those games. And then just to say like, oh, you have to wait a year, just not arbitrarily, but because they made this deal with Microsoft, and then you're just sitting there waiting, and just like you kind of start playing other games in the genre, and other games kind of do things better because every year there's kind of a incremental improvement of that whole genre. So it's just kind of like a bummer.
It's kind of the same thing for a Final Fantasy VII. The 3 people who don't own a PS4 aren't going to be able to play Final Fantasy VII for a whole year.
Yeah, and then by the time it comes out on that new system, it's like it doesn't get the same sort of like ads. It doesn't get the same sort of like in the the video game websites. They don't really talk about it because it's like, oh yeah, it just came out on a new platform. We're not going to review it. There's not going to be forums of people playing it for the first time and talking about how awesome. Oh, did you see this? Did you see that?
Did you guys catch
It's
how
like-
I made fun of how there was like no one who owned an Xbox, but almost everybody owns a PS4?
yes. Yes, I did think that, but it was also just that sucks for the person that hasn't bought
some people can't afford to.
No,
when they went with Xbox.
Well, that's what I'm thinking, and like on top of that, you got to know that hey, deep down, or not deep down, but a few months down the road, it's a new system. Unless, of course, that person is just be like, hey, I'm just going to reap all the cheap prices of the PlayStation 4 games now.
I'm assuming the FF7 thing has to do more with FF7 was originally on the PlayStation and wasn't exclusive for that system. So it might have something to do with that.
I very well could be.
But just for shits and giggles, when you started talking about Tomb Raider, I looked up the whole is this a subgenre for like the modern 16-bit, and looks like no one's really like officially named it, but to no surprise, a lot of people on Reddit were talking about how it's 16-bit was based on kind of the engine and the specs it was running on at the time, whereas these games are just emulating kind of that effect. So there's really no name for it. I mean, Dead Cells is just kind of a beat 'em up platformer, and I don't know, I guess we can just call them like new wave retro, or
Sure.
I don't know what to call them.
I don't know.
Modern retro.
One
works.
person here said a high bit era.
I don't know. If that
I don't
works.
know if
High
that-
bit would be what it is now, like
1024-bit.
1024 bit. We'll go with how about modern retro? That
Modern
works.
retro, I like it.
That works.
But yeah, I think I also just realized, I think the reason I didn't know there was 3 Tomb Raiders is because I forgot the latest one came out.
Oh, okay.
Shadow. I had forgotten about that
Yes,
one.
Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
So I
Yep.
remember Tomb Raider when it rebooted, and then I do kind of remember Rise of the Tomb Raider, but it just, because I knew I wasn't gonna get it.
Yeah.
This latest one that came out, because that just came out in the fall, right?
No, it came out a while ago.
Yeah,
Like,
probably
maybe
I don't
a
know,
year and a
maybe like
half ago.
yeah, 2
Because
years
then
ago.
they did I have the definitive edition. I just wanted all the tombs, and now they have like all the DLC.
Oh,
tombs.
that was so obnoxious. So that game came out, and there was you can buy expansion passes for games, and this one was like a 7-month expansion pack where every month you would get like a new tomb that you could raid.
Hence why now there's a big number 7 on it that says 7 bonus missions.
Which is like, it's cool in theory that there's 7 expansions, but like you're not playing a single player game for 7 months. You play, like when I play a game like Tomb Raider or Far Cry, I play the crap out of it for 3 weeks or a month, and then I put it away, and then I forget about it, and then 2 months later, if I try to jump back into it, I don't know how to play. I don't know the storyline. Like I don't know what weapons are good. I don't know how to like navigate the menus. It's like you're playing so many games that you can't just remember everything from a game you played 6 months ago. I guess they would assume you would play this every month, but it's like I think you would fall off. Like, oh, I have one more temple to do. Like,
the game
I'll
doesn't
play on
last
this month.
6 months. I
It's
feel like
it's not that kind of game.
Yeah, if you stretch that out as much as you can, I feel like you could get, and you play it often, all the time, maybe a month and a half, 2 months.
Yeah.
And then it's one of those games, the hope that you go back to, or you play it on a more difficult mode.
Did you play the deal? No, you haven't gotten to that one yet.
No. Did you beat Shadow of the Tomb Raider?
Yeah, I beat them all.
What is different about that one compared to or is it just more Tomb Raider?
It's just more. It was maybe the one like kind of disappointing thing about that is it's just like kind of more of the same. They didn't really add anything new, so it's like just a different version of that.
Oh, that's a little disappointing.
Yeah, that's why. That's kind of
Does her character change at all? Because I'm starting to see at the end of this game, finally she's pissed off and angry, and because that was the one thing I always thought of the original Tomb Raider was that she was kind of like a badass. She was kind of like, I don't really give a shit. I'm just going in here. I'm gonna raid this tomb and I'm gonna get out. This one, she's more like, like I don't want to ruin anything. Like, oh, sorry. I wanted to be more of a.
Yeah, she does get more harder and
Good.
like brutal, but again, it's been a couple of years, so I'm not quite sure exactly how it plays out, except
So-
that it's not super memorable.
Oh, that's not good. But I mean, I'm really enjoying the gameplay on this. The story is good. I'm gonna say it's nothing too unforgettable. But I'm still having a good time with it, and I'm excited to get to the next one. That's the one I'm gonna kind of dive more into and do all the side stuff. And then the last game I'm playing is the Darksiders Genesis for the Switch.
Oh, is that
just
the
came out. That's
the strategy one, kind of, or is it like the Diablo like one?
Yeah, it's like a Diablo thing. The only problem with it right now that I'm having is you are so far away from the character. Like the zoom.
Can't zoom in at all.
No, that's kind of a little frustrating. And I understand why.
Isn't that how the original Diablo was too? You were like really tiny. You really couldn't zoom in all that much.
I believe you could tilt the camera a little bit.
I mean, it's 2020. You should be able to zoom in, but
Yeah, I understand. I understand why they don't want you to, but I just don't understand in this day and age why you can't
So does this
anymore.
game have like online multiplayer? Are you playing with other people? Or are you
You
just
can play
playing it-
online co-op if you want to
when
join.
when you play single player, are you just playing with other bots? Is it
No,
four-
you
okay.
you turn it off. You can turn it off, so it's just by
is it,
yourself.
is it 1 to 4 players? Do you know?
1 to 2, I believe.
1 to 2. That's
It'd be neat if you could be
that's
all four
interesting.
horsemen. But yeah, you play one of the two guys.
That would be really cool. Which two?
You play as a new guy, Strife. He essentially is like Deadpool and or the guy from Guardians of the Galaxy. The guy with the mask gun. He's at the very
The main
beginning of
guy?
the very first movie. He's Chris Pratt.
Oh, Star-Lord.
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 Yeah, that's it.
He's like a
You
mix.
mean the main character?
yes.
Well, you said at the beginning of the first movie, like, I'm like, what?
Well, yeah, he's the one that has the anyway. He's like a mix between those. He's sarcastic. He has like long range like pistols that he uses, and then
Is it kind of like a hub world where you're going into missions like in Diablo, or is it just like a giant map that you're like story map?
it's very similar
levels or-
to. So far, I'm on like a second or third level, and it plays like Diablo without a hub, like without a main town to go
Yeah.
to. I have maybe there's more because I know I started also playing the Darksiders War Mastered. It's like the very first one of the series because I wanted to see kind of what the story was about and how it worked. They have like almost like the mercenary from Resident Evil 4. You could go in, upgrade your stuff. You have like that kind of hub, but they kind of follow you as you go through the game. Whereas Diablo, you kind of go back to that town and there's the blacksmith and there's the merchant that sells stuff. So this one seems like as you're just moving along, but you can go back to any area that you want to. I'm pretty sure, at least in that area. I haven't.
So, do you have a direction then? Like, do you kind of
No,
just
it's
dig
pretty.
around?
It's
or-
pretty open. I mean, there's an obvious kind of path where you can go, but there's a lot of different areas.
Because with no hub world, you just kind of go wherever you feel like, or
Yeah, well, you get put on a map, and I mean, you can obviously tell that they want you to go in this way, but then the whole map will be open pretty much in certain locations that you can go. I don't know. You can go this way and climb up over here, or you can walk this way, and it's because you're so far away. Sometimes it's also a little disorienting to tell. Do they want me to jump off this little thing down to here, or is that just like background? Like, am I dead if I jump off this? So I've had a few times where I've been just jumped off and died. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess I'm not supposed to go there.
this is a THQ Nordic, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think a lot of their dev teams are smaller too.
I mean, it's a great game. They did a fantastic job with it. The only thing I would like to be able to do is just zoom in just a little bit, because half the time I can't tell the enemy type because it's so far away. Sometimes a lot of them just have little changes to them. Like one enemy will have wings. One of them will have like shoulder pads, which kind of look like wings, plus your character is so small sometimes when they like swarm you, it's like, where's my character? I can't see where he is. But it's definitely like a Diablo clone. So if you enjoy that type of game,
I'm curious what the kind of like end game content would be for this game. It's probably something you can't answer yet, but just like, is it something
Probably
like in
play as the other
Diablo where you
character.
can, like,
So-
yeah, but do you think you could go in like would there be higher difficulty levels where you can jump back into the same stages?
Oh,
and,
absolutely.
like,
There's
get
different
better gear
difficulties. Yeah,
and-
there's definitely different difficulties. Plus, like I say, you can play as the range character, Strife, or you can play as the hack and slash character, War. Hack and slash character for me kind of gets a little repetitive.
Yeah.
That's why I never liked those characters in Diablo because I always
never played most hack and slash games.
but especially the ones where you're just slashing like thousands of enemies at a time.
Just the generic warrior
It's just
class.
it just feels generic warrior type thing.
High health, slow.
Exactly, and basically you just sit there and you just can swing your sword and kill everything. It doesn't take as much skill, I would say. But at least with Strife, you have like a quick dodge ability where he can like, Strife,
Strafe.
like Strife, right? Where he can quickly like slide in any direction, and then you can like there's two different like shoot modes. One of them has like you hold it and like it charges and shoots all the way across the map. So anything in a line you can hit. But that, yeah, like I said, it's essentially a Diablo clone, which is, what I was looking for kind of on the Switch. Great game to pick up.
Strife is also Cloud's last name.
Yes, it is.
Speaking of Final Fantasy, you still playing that, Matt? And that's how you do a segue.
Yeah, Dan, stop talking. We're going to talk about me now.
No, Dan, did you playing anything else before we move on to Matt?
No, that's it. That's it. That's it. Go ahead, Matt.
I am actually interested to know more about that game, because it seems like this kind of it's just such a strange direction for them to go from these kind of third person, over the shoulder action
God of War type games, yeah.
To like this completely different genre.
I feel like a lot of that also had to do with THQ going out of business, and then they kind of merged with Nordic and got bought out. And
I feel like it's weird that they
around.
keep trying to make this property like a thing. I feel like there's not a lot of people that are like, oh, I'm super into this Darksiders series. And the first two games I really enjoyed, but I feel like a lot of people didn't buy them.
It was definitely a B tier.
The third one
was like universally kind of panned as not great.
Which one?
The third one.
It was also like obnoxiously hard.
last year.
Where you play as the woman character.
Yeah.
Pestilence? I think it was in the third.
Sounds right. Yeah. Yeah.
It's just
right.
from talking about it a couple weeks ago.
There's War, Death,
Famine,
Strife, and...
Well, Strife isn't actually one of the four horsemen. That's why I was...
No, he is.
No.
I have no idea.
He's not?
War, Famine, Pestilence, and Death.
I wonder if it would have been better for them to
That's why I was surprised. You play as...
Maybe that's his nickname? Because I'm almost certain he's one of the... Because they keep calling him Horseman.
Oh, maybe that's like his nickname or something.
Yeah, maybe. Anyway, it's fun. But if you think about it, though, it's just a different camera angle. That's all it really is. Because as I was playing as the War character for a little bit, it literally did feel just like I was playing the first one, the Darksiders like remastered one. It's just a different angle. It's just from above.
Yeah, I wonder if it would have been better for them to just like start a completely new IP, because I feel like, for me, example, like I like the idea of playing a action role playing game like a Diablo like, but just like going to the Darksiders universe again. Like I feel like I haven't played the third one. I don't.
Well, this is a prequel. This is a prequel to all of them. So this is beforehand, because it was confusing. I was playing the first one, and they were saying something about how this Samuel, I guess the demon's name is.
It's called Genesis.
Oh, yeah. So Samuel is like some sort of demon, and they're like, oh, why do I have to go meet this guy? We don't have a good past or something. And you're like, oh, I wonder why. And then you're playing the prequel, and now you're like, oh, now I know why. So it's kind of neat that way. So
Cool.
I guess this is probably a good reason, too, to get into potentially the Darksiders trilogy.
Yeah,
but
so the game you can play, you can switch between Strife or War.
Yes.
War is one of the
War
four
is the
horsemen.
horseman, yeah.
So So Strife isn't a horseman of the apocalypse. I'm
why the hell are they running together?
I have no idea, but I guess it can switch between the four riders are often seen as symbolizing either conquest or pestilence, and then there's War, Famine, and Death.
Oh,
I didn't know about conquest. I thought it was just pestilence. I didn't know conquest was ever
weird
one. And then but yeah, that's it. I don't know where I guess there's like the colors of the horses too. That's interesting. We're not getting into a theology podcast right now, but something
it's still fun. Later. It's a fun Diablo game, but maybe for the next game that we play after we just finish World War Z can be the Diablo Ultimate, whatever the heck it is.
It was funny. I thought he was going to suggest this game, and I'm like, oh no, let's play Diablo.
We can't play all three.
I forgot already.
Can't play all three. Or else I would have said this. But
not very bright.
Yeah, that's all right. Matt, sorry, go ahead.
So this is such a weird time for video games, like this, like kind of like dark time after the Christmas vacation time, and then before the onslaught of games that's going to be coming to us when Doom, Animal Crossing, and then
Doom's
Final
a month.
Fantasy comes
1 month.
out. So I feel like there's not a lot of new games that I'm really super excited about. Like Andy said earlier, I've been playing through Final Fantasy VII again. I've been kind of taking my time, just playing a couple hours every night. I feel like it's a lot easier than I remember. I don't know if that has to do with the fact that I spent like a little bit of time kind of leveling up.
I think it's because we know how to grind now.
Yeah,
what we didn't before.
True. I know like every ins and out. Like there were bosses that I had such a trouble with when I was like a kid that are just like I'm just mopping the floor with them. But
that happened to me when I you remember the thing where you have to ride the dolphin up on the
I hated that thing.
I was able to do it on like the third try this time. Normally it takes me 1,000 times, but the boss you fight right before that, I had grinded a lot right before that battle, and then I took him down so easily. I'm like, oh, maybe this is what I should have been doing as a kid.
Yeah, when I was,
I do remember it being a lot harder.
We were probably too impatient. But yeah, like there's not too much to say about it. I just finished the Temple of the Ancients, so I think I'm coming up on like the end of disc 1, which is I think the longest disc. I'm enjoying it. We'll see. I did pick up on eBay Dirge of Cerberus, which was only like $5 or $6 to anyone that's interested in getting it for the PlayStation 2.
I am not.
I guess no one's interested in it. That was a dumb statement. Like
I'm sure someone is.
Well, I mean, it's supposed to be a bad game, but I think it's strange that it's kind of, 7's my favorite game of all time, and there's this kind of canon other semi pseudo sequel that I just haven't even touched. So I feel like I owe it to them to at least learn what that is about.
I'm pretty sure I watched my friend, because my friend Dylan, FF7 was his favorite game as well, and I would watch him play, and it really just didn't have anything to do with anything about Final Fantasy VII, so I just never...
That's weird.
I never revisited it.
It takes place after 7.
Well, if you have it, I might want to either watch you play or borrow it and try it for myself, but also I don't think I was... Because I never owned the game. I was never able to beat Crisis Core.
Oh, that's actually really an underrated, really fun game.
But it was never ported to anywhere.
Yeah, you got to play it on the PSP, which is obnoxious. I do.
Oh, I might want to play that right.
I have the
Sure.
Somebody traded in the special edition version, the one that came with the special edition Crisis Core Vita, which was like the gray special edition. So the cover.
You made a Crisis Core Vita?
I mean, not Vita, PSP. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
PSP.
I was confused.
And it has like a silver cover, and I was like, oh my god, I'm picking this up.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to
So I
play
still
through
have that
7, Dirge of Cerberus, and Crisis Core all before Final Fantasy 7 Remake comes out. But yeah, you're welcome to play it too. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So yeah, I'm playing through that. Another thing I was trying as I'm playing through it again, we had talked about this off the podcast, is how, I usually stuck to Barret and Cid as kind of my favorite. So kind of every time I played, I'd try to do something different, and then I'd just kind of funnel back into just playing as my favorite characters. So I've been trying to switch it up. And I was playing as Vincent because all right, well, that's the game I'm going to play. I should at least get some levels on him. I want to get their kind of max level limit breaks, which to get you have to, kill a lot of guys with them and then level them up and things like that. And I remembered how much I hated Vincent. He's a cool character in game, but so his limit break, to anyone, I don't know if anyone actually hasn't played Final Fantasy VII game, but after you take a certain amount of damage, you get a special, more powerful move that you can use. So it'll typically happen during bosses or, every few normal matches that you have against just common enemies. And his will just turn you into a beast, you transform, which is kind of cool, but you lose complete control of the character. So he can't use items, he can't use magic or summons or anything. He just does his random attacks, which are more powerful than normal. But I was playing on one of the bosses in the Temple of the Ancients. And as soon as I used that, he started doing these attacks that were healing the boss for 1,000 damage. Yeah, because they were fire attacks.
Oh no! You should have just attacked Vincent and killed him and stopped him from.
That's what I had to eventually do. Okay. I had to kill Vincent to stop him from healing the boss that was fighting.
That's horrible.
It's I can't believe they made it so that you are using elemental magic that they can be healed by. So it was oh, of course, this is one of the many reasons I hate this guy.
Note to self: don't use Vincent in the Temple of the Ancients.
Yeah, I guess don't use him on bosses. Don't use him on any fire guys. I mean,
I used to use him constantly just because he looked cool.
He does look cool, and I'm sure it's fun most of the time. It's just that one specific scenario where you can't really control what he does, and if he starts healing the bosses because of the magic he's using, you kind of crap out of luck.
That's why I love the action figure I have of Cloud. It's the Cloud version from Kingdom Hearts, and he's wearing for some reason wearing Vincent's clothing. Did they ever explain that in Kingdom Hearts?
No,
I didn't even realize it was Vincent's clothing. I just thought it looked cool.
Is he in Kingdom Hearts, Vincent?
No.
No, not that I'm aware of.
Cloud just had his claw and the cloak and the a wing or something that. It made no sense. Cool figure though.
Yes. I've also been still playing World of Warcraft. I don't really talk about it every week because that would be a kind of a boring thing to bring up every week. But they did just release the Blackwing Lair, which is the second big 40-man raid that you do after Molten Core. So Molten Core is the main end game content you do when the game came out, and then a few months, 6 months after that came out, in 2005, they released Blackwing Lair, which is a much more kind of intricate and difficult raid. The kind of the gameplay mechanics are much more in depth and like complicated. It's like from what I've heard is like the Molten Core, the first raid was kind of rushed because they were trying to get it ready for launch, and this one they kind of had more time to work with, so the battle scenarios are much more complicated. So the guild that I'm in is actually we were only able to we went on Friday night 3 hours and we were only able to do one boss, so that's how complicated this stuff is. It took us 3 hours to just take down one boss one time, and then the next boss killed us in like 15 seconds. So I'm enjoying that. It's a lot of fun.
Dying in 15 seconds.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how long it's going to take us to get to the next boss, and to actually, I think there's like 8 of these bosses to defeat. So we'll see if that goes well or not. The only other things I've really been playing is like dumb phone games that I'm like semi-embarrassed to talk about too. I've been playing
Clash Royale clones.
Yeah, I've been getting into this kind of like mode where I'll just go to the pre-registration page and just click like pre-register for almost anything, unless I'm like, okay, it's a dumb 3-match gem game. I'm not gonna play that. And I just keep like, because it's kind of a fun way to like 2 times a week you'll just kind of get this free game that'll download to your phone. But most of the time they're just hot garbage. I'm still playing Mario Kart Tour, which came out. That's the one I've been playing longer than others. It came out like 5 or 6 months ago.
I'm actually surprised you're still plugging away at that, but you seem to be enjoying it a lot.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's fun to play here and there. I like the way that it, you don't have to play, every day per se. You don't have to like that's what really gets me with these games, that just they're constantly asking you to check in every fucking few hours to build this or open this chest or.
That's why you turn off the notifications.
Well, yeah, I do turn off the notifications, but you're still compelled to because I'm always want to get the maximum output of my characters, or to get to the highest level, I need to check it in as fast as possible. So that's usually I usually kind of turn away from those games, like the hero collectors and things like that, to kind of give myself some sanity.
Yeah, I finally got some balance with Clash Royale where I'm only logging in like once a day. So it's not really eating up any of my time. It's just that like once a day. It's been on my phone for months.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing with Mana.
Don't look at me like that.
That's what I've been doing with the Magic Mana Strike game, which is kind of the clone of Clash Royale. And I've been enjoying it, but I kind of feel like I want to fall off. But I did buy the the battle pass for $10, and I've earned enough battle pass for like the next 2
You bought the battle pass?
Yeah, it's like $10, and you can get you get a bunch of extra stuff just like in another battle pass.
Just like how Matt, when he's going to buy a new car, he's going to get the battle pass.
You get extra
version.
cards.
Comes with
you get skins for characters and things like that. If you're playing the game every day, it is. I feel like a lot of people are anti-spending money in phone games, which I understand. But like a game like Mario Kart, I'm playing, few hours. I'm getting a few hours of enjoyment out of a week. Like it's not. That's how much I'm playing World of Warcraft, and obviously World of Warcraft is more exciting and worth more money and more fun for me. But like the idea of playing like $2 or $3 towards a subscription on like a Mario Kart game isn't insane to me like it is to some people. I guess.
did it. You and I did it with Apex, where it's like, hey, let's throw them a few bones because they're doing really awesome. Then as soon as they started being dumbasses, we were like, all right, well, bye.
Yeah,
but I've done it. I've given $1 here or there to, because for a lot of the phone games, it's technically free amusement. And if you feel like you're getting a money's worth for something you're not giving money to, it's fine to slip them a bone every now and then.
What a lot of these games is, and it's the one monetization that I kind of don't hate, is they'll have kind of what I consider 2 tiers of monetization. So the first tier is your kind of Magic Pass, your gold subscription. You're kind of like, this is $5 a month, $10 a month. And then
is that a Disney World reference, Magic Pass?
No, Magic Pass is what they call it in Magic.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant those things where you skip the lines.
I thought it was too.
and then they have that
Magic Pass. Go to the front of the line.
They kind of have that second tier of payment for what I would consider like whales, which is like you can literally just directly buy the in-game currency with gems or coins.
Oh,
or whatever it is.
yeah.
And that's you're gonna pay like $100 to get like such a tiny amount of value. But usually the way they do it with these kind of battle passes is you'll have to physically grind it out and you'll have to pay a few bucks, but you'll get probably $50 or $100 a month out of value by just paying that $5 or $10 and then doing that progression and just enjoying the game as you are. So I usually like to, if it's a game I'm playing regularly, I'll usually get that kind of battle pass and just kind of enjoy it as long as I enjoy it. And then with Apex, I literally just bought it once and then we were able to enjoy it for a few months off of that $10.
Yeah, we got the second one for free.
Yeah, they
because
often give you enough currency in some of those games to just buy the next battle pass.
I feel like phone games, it's less like that. Like Clash Royale, I had free Google Play money that I never know what to do with because it's just sitting there. Because I do those surveys, which I know they're collecting the data that I'm pretty against. But I mean, they're giving me money, so what am I supposed
You're
to
getting
do?
paid for it at that point. They're not taking it for
But
free.
Clash doesn't. When I was playing it, they didn't have like a monthly thing. It was just
They
buying
do now.
chests.
They have a season pass now. I think it lasts for a month or two, and it's $5. So I use some of the Google Play money because I have nothing else to use it on.
Yeah.
Like I was struggling to find things to use the Google Play money on.
Pokemon Go, you can as well.
I do it on that as well.
Yeah.
I buy like incubators and stuff. But anyways, I use it on Clash, and it added a few awesome features, although Clash is a lot better than it used to be about just giving you more stuff even when you're not paying for it. It did give me some extra goodies, like it made it so I could open 2 chests concurrently instead of one at a time, and a few other things. But I can understand.
As long as it doesn't affect, like, if you're playing multiplayer, like, because that...
People get the higher level cards quicker.
Well, that's what I don't like. That's
I'm at a stage where I'm already facing all of the toughest people, and most of my cards are at the toughest point.
Well,
So-
yeah, but for the person starting out and that doesn't want to pay, the $50, that's where it sucks. That's one.
Yeah,
that's
but
why,
if you have better stuff, you go to the higher tier quicker, and then you're not facing those people.
Yeah, but see, that's the other problem I had.
Yeah, it's
'cause
very temporary. Like if you're
Assassin's-
free to play, you're typically playing other free to play people unless they're they just bought a giant package and maybe that'll help them beat you.
I know, but then
it'll even out over time.
Then that always feels like Assassin's Creed had that issue where everything leveled up with you, so you never felt like you were getting stronger or like better. So that was a problem I have with.
Yeah, where you don't feel like you're doing better.
Yeah, you don't feel like
But I guess
you're just towing the line. You're just
in the
like
case
getting
of,
to that level where you're just staying afloat.
Well,
you're never.
In the case of Clash Royale, or in my case, Magic Mana Strike, the higher level you are, the kind of more cards or things you'll get from the chests that you're winning. So you do get like a bigger reward for beating these higher.
A bigger
skilled
reward, like
opponents.
better chances to get something, but getting something that outright makes you that much better. Like that's one of the reasons why I quit Hearthstone, was because one of the season passes or the new expansions came out. Everyone was already playing, all the super rare cards, and I didn't have it. So I was like, screw this. This is dumb. I'm not paying
that's
you a nickel.
I mean, it's the price you pay for not paying a price, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's. I understand why you're.
I know what you said, and it doesn't sound like it makes sense, but it does. I get it. I got you.
I understand why you're saying that. And there's games like Call of Duty or or like Apex where it's like almost pure skill.
Which, well, that's what I like. It's only cosmetic, or it's something very minor that you could still, beat them. Like, you can get 2 new guns pretty quick in the new Call of Duty Battle Pass if you pay for it, and you get like a stupid outfit that everyone is wearing. By the way, at the
I actually
same
unlocked a
time.
new assault rifle yesterday randomly.
Oh, the GRAU thing? Yeah,
Yeah.
the 5.56. It's nice. That's
haven't
the one I've
used
been
it.
using. And that's what I like. It also sucks that it's a game that you're paying for, but they're still giving you a lot of extra free content. I'm not going to complain for Modern Warfare that
Things
there
like
is
Clash give you like a crap ton of free stuff too all the time.
Yeah, and I think the problem with
Well, yeah.
price.
Well, for a free game, I guess it's a little. It would be a little bit different.
It's not like you're playing Call of Duty and the other guys are getting like completely unlocks
like
for
the
every
same
weapon
gun, but better.
automatically.
Well, it would be annoying if they got the same gun that you do, but it just does a little bit, like it does more damage, or it does,
Yeah.
it holds more ammo. Like that would piss me off. If there was random loot chances that like you could get the same type of gun and it would have little bonuses, then I wouldn't mind. But if you straight out get like a better weapon ahead of everyone else, that would piss me off.
Most of this stuff is just paying for more
Yeah,
loot
but I
boxes.
think a lot of people have your kind of mindset where they want 100% pure skill. But a lot of people and this is the case for me sometimes too, where you play a game with skill for so long and you just feel like you kind of get to this point where you're not getting any better, you're not improving, you're getting the same amount of kills to death every match. But with games like this, where there's kind of a leveling up process, you are getting better. So there's kind of that skill track that's making you a little better, but you're also getting this like level progression that kind of makes it so that you can still get a higher rank and like feel like you're doing better, even though the game's kind of helping you out and kind of rewarding you for just being, playing the game a lot and kind of grinding out the cards to level your character up or whatever it is. So it's kind of this like second track, so you don't get burned out on like, oh, I'm just losing all the time, or like maybe you're really bad at video games and like instead of losing, getting 1 kill every 10 deaths, you'll just eventually level up your cards enough so that you'll be fighting guys and doing pretty well.
See, that's where I'm the opposite. I like where you actually feel like you're getting better. If you're not, then you need to get out. You're not that good at the game. You need to move on to something else. And that's where I don't like a helping hand. That's why I don't like games that have aim assist. Like Crackdown 3 has aim assist. I don't use it because it's just cheap.
Call of Duty has aim assist.
Call of Duty. Okay.
Yeah, slows down
lock
when you're-
on,
a lot of
like
console shooters.
lock on, like Crackdown locks on to the enemies, where you can do
On multiplayer?
everything.
Oh.
So I don't like it because it's just too easy. So I refuse to use that left joystick at all, or excuse me, that left trigger at all. Same thing with Recore. Recore does that. That's an Xbox One.
I know. That was like one of their few exclusives.
Yeah,
That's the only reason I know what that game is.
Yeah, so with
Also,
Recore,
it
it's the
looks
same
cute.
thing. It is. It's actually really, especially for the price. It's only like $10.
Well,
Buy it.
I know when it came out, it got like some middling reviews.
It had some bug issues, but they fixed it, and I think it's a really good game, especially one of the very few exclusive good games for the Xbox. But in that game, you could lock on to the enemy, but it felt so cheap. All you were doing was locking on, just running back and forth, left and right, and you would kill every enemy. So to make it a little bit challenging, I just refused to use that button. So I was like, all right, so I made it so that I had to earn the kill by actually targeting him the whole time. It makes the game more difficult, but to me, it's more rewarding. But then again, that's the difference between Matt and I. Matt and I like the games that are extremely difficult, and you have to really overcome the game itself rather than just getting help with like power-ups and stuff like that.
And I think the thing that makes me okay with it is everyone can kind of get that help. Like putting aside the pay-to-play games, like everyone is, everyone that's grinding is, so it's not like you're getting this special privilege. Other people can kind of grind out those levels too. But to get back to the point of like what brought this up, Magic Mana Strike, is like I kind of feel like I'm done with the game, but I have enough gems to buy like the next 2 battle passes. So I kind of feel like compelled to keep playing a game I don't like because I feel like that's the, I want to get my value out of it.
Well, I know you're big into the happening and mobile games. I don't know if you're going to be interested in this one, but it's worth a shot. Andy, you might as well, but I know it's from a series that you're not going to play. So
they didn't put MLB on the phone.
Gwent is coming to the phone, which is the card game built in
I'd be
Witcher
into
3.
checking that out. I've heard
Gwent?
good
I
things
think
about Gwent.
I'm the only person I know
I
that
love
does
Gwent
not like that
so much.
It just seems boring and generic.
It is so unique, I thought, because it's risk reward. It's like, I'm going to give up this game to take the chance of winning the next 2. And your first game, depending on what cards you use, you can't use it the next 2 rounds. So it's risk reward type of thing. So you can go all out just to win that first one, but then you'll only have 1 card left, and the other person has 2. So they're going to win the next 2 rounds in a row. So anyway, I guess the Gwent is coming to the phone. It's right now on Steam, which I am going to try it at some point.
Kind of. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. It's just coming out. I guess it's already out on Steam, so I want to kind of get used to it before it comes out on the phone.
I was just going to say to kind of cap off the phone game convo, I just want something to do while I'm bored on the pooper. That's all I look for in a phone game. I'm not looking for anything to.
No.
Oh, another thing that
I'm just bored.
Another thing that I've found while kind of delving into this kind of dark underworld of just like playing phone games all the time, is you really can't play more than like I would say 1 or 2 of these at a time. Because there'll be times where I'll be downloading multiple ones and I want to keep playing this new one I just got, and I'm like I have to delete like 3 of these because they all really do ask a lot of you to do these like check-ins, and you want to play like your 1 or 2 matches a day.
Now's the perfect time though, because you're in the dark area of video games where you have nothing to play.
Exactly, yeah. So it's a good time to do all this dumb phone game shenanigans.
You make it sound so much more ominous than it actually is, though.
I just like feel dirty just because like there's something dirty.
You look dirty.
There's something dirty about being someone that enjoys like hard quote unquote hardcore video games and like playing dumb phone games that come out. Like they're just they're strange, but I guess they have their place. They can be fun too. So
I wouldn't doubt that there is like work out there or like on some of these websites or something that allow you like, hey, you can pay me, $10 a day and I will go into each one of your accounts and I will activate trophies and stuff like this and all that for
Sounds like something
'cause
that needs.
Fortnite actually had like people like, oh, we'll get you a win for like $15 you'd pay on. It's
That doesn't
like,
surprise me.
Jesus Christ. So,
all right. So what have you been playing, Andy? To get away from my
next topic. No,
conversations?
no.
Yeah, we talked about phone games for a while. I was actually gonna I wanted to talk a little more about the Crisis Core.
Oh, yeah? Oh, sorry.
We could all play that at the
that's
same
fine.
time. We
So-
all have it.
No, I don't have it. I would have to borrow Matt's. So I had a PSP at one time. I actually got the Dissidia bundle for the PSP when it came out. That was towards the end of the life of the PSP. It wasn't so special. It was just a silver PSP, and it came with the game. Like there was nothing unique about it. And even though I was a huge FF7 fan, I never actually had the game. I borrowed it off of a friend, and I don't really remember why I didn't finish it. I think I was just kind of sour on the PSP experience, and then I think there was something about the combat I didn't really like in the game for some reason.
I don't remember a lot about the game except that I was like pleasantly surprised about both the storyline and the kind of like gameplay loop.
I was impressed about the cutscenes. They were like, and I don't know what it's going to be like looking at it now, but to me at that time, it's like, oh my god, this is like Advent Children.
Especially for like a
cutscenes.
like a handheld console, it did feel like a PS2, like a decent quality PS2
Yeah,
game.
it sucks that like part of me wanted, a lot of me wanted the PSP and the PSP Vita to be more than it was, simply based on the fact that it was such a great piece of hardware. Like I would go from the Nintendo DS Lite, which I loved my Nintendo DS, but then I would go to the PSP. It looked better than what the console graphics had at times, and like the cutscenes for Advent Children were amazing. And actually, you mentioned earlier you were still on the first disc of Final Fantasy VII, which is what most of the game is on. That's because the third disc packed most of the cutscenes, which was very new for any video games to have that many cutscenes. But yeah, so Crisis Core, I would love to. You've kind of reignited my passion to kind of make sure I beat Final Fantasy VII for the umpteenth time, and then actually go through and play through and beat Crisis Core, because it's like one of those things where I generally know the story, but I've never actually done it. I've never beaten Crisis Core. I've never actually played through that story, and aside from what I've gotten from Final Fantasy VII, what I've read up from, and what I got from Advent Children, I really don't remember all of like the nitty gritties.
Yeah, me neither. And I want to, when I play this remake, I want to be like fully engrossed in it. I want to get all the tiny little references and maybe Easter eggs that they'll put in for like the other games and things like that.
Which is the opposite of how you felt about a month ago. You were really
set
on staying away.
I kind of went back and forth on this, and then I kind of ended up on, okay, I've played it before. I might as well just like fully understand, like get it fresh in my memory, so I know how cool or how different everything is.
And I've been doing pretty good on playing FF7. It's generally been the only thing I've been playing on my Switch. So I've been playing it not as liberally as you, but pretty liberally. And I also broke out my Final Fantasy VII Player's Guide the other day.
Oh yeah, that's pretty cool.
Authentic vintage official. Only, I don't know, it said like an absurd amount of number of issues made on the cover. Unfortunately,
it's like over 1 million, I think it says.
It was given to free for me by my friend Dylan, because he found it at a like kind of like a flea market or something like that. Unfortunately, the condition I got it in, and this is the condition he found it in, was pretty poor. So it's not like in great condition, but it's just cool to have. It's like a cool little piece of gaming history for my favorite game. But it goes into all the nitty gritties of everything in the game, and Matt and I were kind of bonding over. We did in I forget what the place is called. What was the where you take off from the boat? You go to Costa del Sol, but it's
Rocket
where you
Town?
leave. No. It's where you have the parade and everything like
Juno?
that. Is it
Juno?
Juno? I was gonna
Yeah.
say that, but I wasn't
Junon?
sure. So there in that area, it's like a military base for the Shinra Corporation. You can find these two dolls. It's like 1/35th scale dolls, and I remember Matt had said like, oh, it's like a 1 in 135 scale doll. And as a child growing up, I thought that meant there was 34 others that I could get. It was one out of 35 dolls you could collect, but you could never find any other. It's just those two. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, they don't really have any point to them.
It's just a doll.
like-
Can you sell them? They worth anything?
I don't know. I bet you can. I'm not sure.
There's got to be something because there's.
I imagine they probably did have like plans for like a mini game, and they just kind of scrapped it or something.
There was a lot of little Easter eggs in the game. Like you could use transform on a few enemies, and it turns into secret items, and you bring them to this guy, and the guy gives you something special, and then it allows you to like talk to Aerith at the church. Where you see her ghost, but it's like this like game-breaking glitch or something like that. I'll try to remember to link it in the description of the podcast if I can find the video that I saw that about because that's really cool. But aside from that, I've been really hammering in the Call of Duty. I've kind of gotten into a similar vein to what I was with Halo 3 and Halo Reach, where I just get addicted to these like online multiplayer games, and I don't know if I started doing this just to give me something to do in the game or it's because it's something I really want to do, but I'm getting every camouflage for every assault rifle because if I unlock every camouflage for every assault rifle, I get the platinum skin for every assault rifle. And it's
Gotta
just
have
one of those
that,
things
'cause
where
you
it's
can
like
get it.
I'm still enjoying playing the game. Not all the time, but most of the time. And I'm still even though there's like all these other games I need to play. Like I'm in the exact opposite situation as you, Matt, where it's like I have too many games to play. It's like Dan's like that kind of person in between us where he has a lot of games to play, but he also cycles through a lot of them. I have a lot of games to play, and I keep putting in Call of Duty.
I even started playing Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 again.
Oh, wow. That's cool. You enjoying it?
I am.
Did you continue or start a new game?
Continued. I was like, I want to finish it. Also, I really want to unlock Deadpool.
Square or Capcom? Who made that game?
That's Capcom, I believe. Ooh, now you're throwing me for a loop. I believe it's Capcom.
Just because I know Square's making the
Avengers.
the Avengers, yeah.
That's why I was wondering.
No,
I think it's
gotta
Capcom.
be. It's got to be Capcom.
Yeah.
It's got to be Capcom.
But yeah, so I'm still enjoying Call of Duty for the most part. I know that's going to be coming to an end pretty soon. What with the other games that are going to be coming out, and I do want to push myself to play other games, kind of like Dan's doing. The other night he's like, I really want to make it through these story-driven games, and I always complain that I have a backlog.
I mean, we have. I mean, when we first, or I should say, when Call of Duty first was announced and stuff, I remember you were like, Dan, are you really going to play this? Are you really going to play this? And I mean, it is definitely.
I'm even just playing on my own.
Yeah, so it's. But
that's why I was.
Wait a minute.
That's why I was worried, is because if I didn't like it on my own, I was only going to be able to play it with a friend, and if you were only going to be playing it for a limited amount of time, I wasn't getting my money's worth. Luckily, it's kind of like a Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3 era situation where I just generally enjoy playing it. I'm generally enjoying going after these camouflages for the guns. I think around the time,
a lot of content to go after for free.
Yeah,
you don't have to.
I mean, I
go
paid $60.
Well, I mean,
I paid $60 just for the multiplayer.
Yes, but they're giving they're giving you a lot of free content that. A lot of that stuff was not in the original, like the season pass, the new guns, all of it you don't have to pay for.
I mean, it's a crawl to get experience for that battle pass. I know if you play the campaign, you get experience.
With the campaign and the co-op,
something.
You can do some other stuff.
I just have no interest in doing. I just have no interest in doing it. Aside from that, there was something else I was going to go over. Now I forgot what it was. Because one of you people had to say stuff to me. How dare you talk to me on a talking medium?
For a loop.
I bet it was Dan.
Yeah, it's probably Matt.
No, I was talking about Final Fantasy VII, Advent Children,
Crisis
Call of
Core?
Duty, Crisis Core. There was one other thing that I've either been playing or what? Oh, World War Z. We finished World War Z. I think we should just kind of mention that. I know it was a little lackluster of a finish. We didn't really do. Yeah, I guess the fourth episode was more of an add-on to begin with, and I don't know, it kind of just ended out of nowhere.
I was hoping that you were going to get to the lab where they have a cure, and it's just the cruise ship, and it's like, yeah, well, we're okay.
You find out it's the T-virus, and at the end it says Resident Evil 8.
Oh, God.
It's like, wow, they really changed the games.
They keep releasing Resident Evil 8 games. Like reveal at the end.
Resident Evil 8. Resident Evil 8 and 1/4. Or it can be like
yeah, but it was a little lackluster. We finished it up. Let's Plays on our YouTube channel. Speaking of our YouTube channel, this Friday night I'm going to be doing a little special thing where I kind of do a breakdown of the new, and this can go into our next topic. I'm going to go through the new opening, the 5-minute opening for Final Fantasy VII. I want to do kind of like a video breakdown of that this Friday night. So that's going to be up on our YouTube channel Friday night. It's a little late because the thing came out like last week, but I just want to do it because it's fun.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's
Who's
like
gonna
your
stop
favorite.
me? Is it you?
Yeah, it was a sweet opening.
We're not going to stop.
Yeah.
Won't steal all your thunder now, but that
Yeah,
was pretty
but
cool.
before we move on to that, is there anything you guys did want to say about World War Z? Before we cut off with that, I cut off pretty quick.
No, it was fun. I mean, like it's
I've just run out of things to say about it.
it is kind of just a horde mode. You're leveling up your guys. It's I mean, I guess
Left 4 Dead.
you guys were kind of disappointed by the quote unquote story, but it really wasn't a game that's supposed to have a story. I feel like
I wasn't
it's
disappointed.
See, Left 4 Dead is one of those games that I would go back to again. I don't foresee myself going back to this game.
Yeah, it
just doesn't have that replayability.
Left 4 Dead. I only played co-op too, though. I wouldn't really play that alone.
Oh, I'd play that.
either.
I'd play that by myself. I just something about it was just
The characters were
fun.
funny.
I think the characters, yeah, maybe the locations were. I don't know.
It was a little brighter. It
It's got a
wasn't
little bit
as
of charm
dark.
to it. Some games just have.
This went for a little more realism.
It did, and I mean, like I said, it was. I think the idea.
was fine.
I think the idea that because it also could be because the AI squad, like you can't play on your own. At least with Left 4 Dead, you can play it on your own, and the AI is
Well, because the AI didn't have any leveling.
exactly. And I think that leveling kind of hurts this game.
Yeah,
where,
it does a little bit where that fourth guy. But I mean, we were able to beat it.
Well, yeah, but
eventually.
all three of us play
Yeah, we beat
games
it on-
pretty regularly. So I mean, can you imagine someone working on that
Or just
that's-
alone.
Yeah, that'd never be. No matter how good you are, like it's gonna be really tough.
Yeah, we
to beat
beat
that.
it. We finished it on normal, and I actually played. I went on, when we stopped playing. I kind of went online to see like how the matchmaking worked on it, and so I went into like a specific a chapter and a specific episode to see if it would matchmake. And I waited like a minute and a half, and nothing happened. So I backed out, and then I went to a quick play option, which is basically it'll go to any random episode in any scenario, just as quickly as possible in that difficulty level. And I did that on normal, and it loaded in like 6 seconds. So I was kind of pleased that you could get 3 other people to play probably any difficulty that you want pretty quickly, as long as you didn't care about what specific space you were going to go to. My only kind of concerns with that was, so when I played, there was 3 of us there. There was one, I was at level 20. This was level normal, which they suggest you be level 15 or higher. And then there's a higher difficulty at like 25 or something like that. No, sorry. I think this was the one for greater than level 5, and there was a higher difficulty level. Regardless, there was one guy that was like a few points lower than the recommended level for it. So I could see a lot of frustration with just randomly joining games, and then people that just want to be carried because you get more points the higher difficulty you are. Luckily, there was a guy that was like 30 something that was kind of helpful too, that we were able to get through it pretty easily. But it seems like without like a specific, matchmaking rules or guidelines, that could really get frustrating if you just keep getting into games with people that are lower level. And on top of that, there wasn't a lot of communication. No one had mics on. I wasn't even sure how this game was set up. So like it would just kind of automatically throw you into a voice chat with people if they had mics or not. I couldn't hear anyone else. I had my mic on, and no one was really just responding to me.
No, there had to have been local mic. Maybe they were just all partied up on a party chat.
That is
Yeah,
true.
maybe
it could
that's-
have been our situation.
Maybe that was the case where they were like all of the 3 of them were together. Or
I think that's
something.
where Left 4 Dead had a matchmaking ability too, where you could play with randoms on the internet. I think all around, again, it comes back to the whole leveling situation. It just makes it easier if you don't have the levels there, as much as we liked that customization.
Because it's based on skill at that point.
Yeah.
I don't mind some customization options like Call of Duty has, where hey, if you want to aim down the sight a little bit quicker, you can use this, but
Yeah,
it penalizes
I almost,
you here. So
I almost wish it had kind of like a leveling up system that was more like, instead of vertical increases in your skill level, but like maybe horizontal, like choices that were not necessarily better but different.
Yeah.
You could unlock or something like that to make it worth
Go
playing
left
with
or
people
right.
that are different difficulties. Because that was another thing that was holding us back. Is like we could only play when all 3 of us were together, which was kind of a bummer. Because that's kind of one of the great things about a game like Call of Duty, where you guys can play alone when you're not together, or you can play together, and it's not like, oh, I'm 5 levels ahead, we can't play together.
Yeah.
well, that's I mean, I would be up for Left 4 Dead, but I mean, I do want to get out of the zombie thing.
It's too bad they didn't have like a switch you could hit. Like, say you just wanted to do like a quick play, didn't care, like an arcade mode where like the difficulty in the levels didn't matter almost.
Yeah.
Oh, you basically come in as like a guest character.
to
You're
play
just
through
earning the
game.
experience.
Maybe it averages out to like the highest or a mid level between everybody or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was fine. I mean, I technically got it for free because I used my Amazon cash on it. So for free, it was good. But the $15 it did cost, it was still probably worth it. But
it was fun. I
I
enjoyed
can't
it.
imagine paying like How much was it new? 60 when it first came out?
No, I think it was 40.
Oh, okay.
Especially because they had less content. Now they've added more. So we're going into this with more content than it typically had. So, I mean, I'm probably done with the game.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think I
done.
would, especially never go back to it by myself with random people. That would be really tough to play.
Before we did get into the Final Fantasy opening, did you were kind of pointing at your
Who's you, Andy?
Dan, you were pointing at your new toy. Do you want to tell us about your new toy, Dan?
Sure. For 3 payments of $19.90. No, I'm kidding.
How much did it cost?
It was $29.99. But right now, because it's so hard to get, if you go on eBay, it's going for 2-3 times the.
Well, of course it is.
Well, because it's just like
Everything on eBay
sold
does that.
out.
Remember the NES Classics?
Well, yeah,
Minis or
but I
whatever?
mean, all stores stores are sold out of this.
So
anyway,
explain to the listeners what I am staring at.
So this is called the back button attachment. I'm going to try to do my best to explain this to you because obviously we can't visually, show you. But anyway, it clicks into the bottom of the controller, and it basically gives you 2 buttons in the back of the controller. So when you're holding the controller, your middle finger that rests on the back will actually rest on 2 different triggers. So those 2 triggers can actually be programmed to any button on the PlayStation. So typically, if you're playing a first-person shooter, anything that would take your finger off the joystick. So like if you want to jump and aim at the same time, you can now accomplish this without taking your finger off the joystick because you can program the X button to be on the left and then the crouch button on the right, or any kind of combination that you want, or if just
Is
something.
it only 2?
2 buttons, yep, because it's the 2 triggers. It's taken a little to getting used to, because I was playing Tomb Raider and I was trying to teach myself, hey, jump only with, pretend you don't have the X or the circle. Use these as, your permanent jump and crouch buttons.
Is this the first time the PS4 has had anything like this that you can put on the back? Hasn't there been
For
any
the official PlayStation 4 controller, yes. There's
Okay.
Scuff and
Because I feel like the Xbox had this
they have an X.
8 years ago. They had a Pro controller where you could tweak everything.
Yeah, the Xbox Elite controller had it so that you could, interchange the D-pad. You could take out the joysticks.
And I always felt like that was more of an Xbox audience thing. Maybe that's why Sony didn't really capitalize on it as much. But I mean, Sony has all the market share now, so
Yeah, and I know most of their games typically that they try and push towards, like Gears of War is multiplayer, Forza Horizon typically is like a multiplayer. So I think typically they've been focused more on like competition, like FIFA. That was their big thing. But it is for $30. I know that's kind of a hefty price tag for 2 additional buttons technically, but if you find certain games uncomfortable, you just don't like their style, like what their controller settings are, and you like the game, but like Deus Ex used to be one that I really hated the controls. This would have made that a lot easier. There's some games that I can think of that I want to go back to because I now have this that would make the controls just that much better.
Did you feel like it was helpful in Tomb Raider? Because I feel like that was,
in Tomb Raider it was not helpful. In Call of Duty it was.
I was gonna say, the only kind of case I can think where that would be really useful would be first-person shooters, where you really need to react quickly and point and shoot somewhere quick.
Or again, if something is just really uncomfortable, like I know Andy, you hated the fact that triangle was jump in Fallout. So
that was like a dumb complaint, though. That was just me making fun of the studios because X should be jump on every game.
but I mean, if for me that can
most of those games you can remap the
you can remap
if
it
you wanted to.
But there are other older games that you cannot.
Yeah.
And it just makes it that much easier. Like say driving, like this would feel better driving.
Or if you play on the PC, you can map anything.
That is true. But exclusively for the PlayStation, this is kind of a nice little attachment. I'd like to know what your guys' thoughts of this are, because again, people are saying that this is potentially what the next PlayStation 4 controller is going to be like. The actual controller is going to have these triggers as built in.
You said,
yes.
You said your hand was cramping up, though, didn't you?
Yeah, my hand was cramping after a little bit, but that's also because I usually hold the controller very tight so that my precision
See, I don't. My ring. And
So Andy
pinky
is holding it
fingers
right now.
just
He's trying
are
it.
not dominant enough for this to ever be comfortable for me. Like I'm like the fraction of a second it takes to do that is not worth it to me. I can understand. Like I'm talking about specifically for like competitive games. Like if I was one of those people who played for money or something like that, yeah, I can understand if the fraction of the second was the difference between me and $1,000, like you'd be damn sure I'll pay $30 for this and get it. But
Even a game that has weird controls. You
well,
don't
that's what I was. I can't think of any games where the controls were weird enough where I would need to do that. I guess.
See, I play a lot of games that don't allow you because they're niche. They really don't like.
Like I just
Apex,
remember
not Apex.
I mean, I just kind of learned where the buttons are for the game. It sucks going in between games, but like I don't.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't. Oh, actually, do you use your middle finger or your ring finger?
You can use whatever you want.
I figure
You want to keep these. You want to keep your pointer finger.
the middle finger feels better than the ring finger.
That's what I have. Yeah, that's typically what I have.
Yeah, I don't. It's just muscle memory though for me to use my thumbs.
It is, and believe me, half the time I was jumping, like when I was playing Tomb Raider the other day, I was jumping with the back and I was jumping also with the front.
Yeah,
it's definitely not something
It
for
takes
me.
some getting used to, but I want to, like, in case the PS5 does make that, like, an extra set of buttons, like, hey, it's going to be, I want to at least be ready for it.
Really hope they don't, or if I hope if they do, because right now the two, they're not really buttons, they're more of bars, and they're like really popping out of the bottom, and I don't like having them there. If I'm
I mean,
not
if you're so used
using
to
them,
resting it, absolutely, it's definitely a change.
because I don't like I guess the fidgety person in me likes there being
but-
something to click there.
I
but-
recall when I first started playing PlayStation 2. Oh god, I can't think of the name of the game. Time Splitters. I played Time Splitters, I think, for the first time, and that was one of the very first times I played a twin stick a twin stick. What was it called? FPS game where I was very all over the place and I was very uncomfortable with it and I did not like it
Did you have
at all.
the PS2 or the GameCube?
PS2.
Okay.
And it was very uncomfortable.
Honestly, for me, that was always because of the joysticks on the PS2 and PS3 controllers were the concave instead of concave, like they
Yes.
were like dome.
But
That was
in
my
general,
issue.
the two, I remember playing it and I was very frustrated that I was not understanding it, and I really wasn't a fan of it. And then obviously now the twin sticks have become the joysticks have become common.
Well, that's standard.
And that's standard now. And so I just want to make sure if this is going to be a standard additional 2 buttons that they can add, because I feel like a lot, especially with,
I mean, even if it was, that doesn't mean you need to use them, though. You know.
no, but I mean, if you want to, like, say you're playing like Diablo 3, like obviously that was a game meant for the PC first. Then they ported it over, and I guarantee you a lot of the struggle to porting it over was, hey, how many buttons can we program on here with it, being a functional game without taking away something from, the actual game itself? Like, because at that point you don't want to go into a menu and then have to.
I mean, that's why you could never have something like WoW on.
No, you couldn't have something that
console.
requires that many mapping of buttons. But this
Well, I
does
think some games
show.
have done it. Like I think Final Fantasy 14 is is kind of a renowned for having a really good button layout for the controller. So you can work around it. It's just it's a little bit more clunky.
Yeah, it would be a little bit more clunky.
Also,
but
there's also the D-pad, which I don't feel like every game utilizes.
It's a little slower.
no, that is true. But I mean,
I do appreciate that they made sure you could still use, for the people who still have the audio jack microphone, like the stock that comes with the PS4. They do still have so that this device uses the audio port as well as whatever that other weird port is that's
the
on the
charging
bottom
port,
of
yeah.
the no
USB.
this is the charging port. I don't know.
oh
what
right,
this
you're right.
is
I'm
for.
sorry. I'm thinking I was. on the bottom.
I guess it's just for things like that, but they do have another audio jack built into the system, so you can still use it if need be. I have a Bluetooth headset, so I haven't had to use that in a while. Also, that stock PS4 earbud kind of hurts my ear after a little bit. Ooh, I like how it
Yes.
lights up with the buttons on the bottom.
So yeah, and instead of
Oh, and it tells you what. Okay,
yeah,
that's
so you can
really
change
cool.
it not you don't have to go into the actual system itself. You just change it on the fly.
So that's awesome. So
Yes.
I really appreciate that. So there's a little circle on the bottom. I don't know if you already explained this, but
No, I didn't.
it displays the buttons that you currently have mapped to the kind of bottom triggers. It's like a little display, kind of like any display you'd have like on a Fitbit. It reminds me of like a Fitbit display. So that's really cool that you can see that.
Yeah, it's nice.
And you can change that on the fly. You click.
All right, now I understand why it's $30. I was thinking like, why the hell is this $30? It's just like a couple buttons. That with that technology, I could meet them
Meet it,
halfway
yeah.
on it.
So I thought that was neat that you don't have to.
Still not for me. But.
For me, someone that flips between multiple games, it was kind of annoying for Xbox to go in and change each for each game. That's your controller set. Yeah. So then when you go to the next game, you have to change it. This one, if you want to change it, you literally just do that like while you're in the menu or whatever.
Obviously, a demand for it if they're flying off the shelves. Either that, they just didn't make enough.
Yeah, so
I don't really know.
I don't know, but I thought it was neat. Matt, what were your feelings on the actual holding it with?
Yeah,
the
it felt
buttons?
nice. It felt comfortable. I feel like maybe it wouldn't be great for like a replacement for a trigger, but I'm just thinking like it would be because you don't actually have to move your hands like you do with your thumbs. So it feels like it would be really good for if you're playing a first-person shooter and you want to use the back button to kind of zoom in and then use the right trigger still to shoot. Because then you wouldn't have to you could still do it. It's kind of like holding your breath when you're a sniper in real life or something like that, where like you don't want to move your character. You want to kind of
That
very
would
precise
actually be
movement.
a good one. Hold
Can
your
you
breath.
map the L3 and R3 to the back buttons? That is the one thing I could say that would be useful because I hate
Grand Theft Auto.
my recent the PS4 controller that came with my PS4 Pro, the black controller. I'm recently having an issue with it where if I try to use R3 to run in Call of Duty, it's really jittery. The controllers was acting up. I thought it was the game, and then
L3. I'm sorry, L3.
L3. And then I switched controllers, and long and behold, it was my controller that was the issue. And I just know that L3 and R3 probably the two hardest buttons.
Yeah,
I don't know, because sometimes you have to use them in conjunction with running. So I can definitely see mapping.
That's
why
why
the running.
Well, that's why like Grand Theft Auto was annoying because you had to keep tapping X.
Oh yeah.
So to run, and they never programmed it.
Like, just let me run.
Yeah, so there was you could run forever if you kept.
Do you know how you
tapping
solve
it.
that problem?
What?
Just not have a button to run. Just automatically have the character be running.
Well, yeah, but they want it to be skill that like you can.
Oh, it's not skill to repeatedly tap X to make them run. It's just a waste of my time and energy.
Well, yeah, but then at that point you have to. Like if you're tapping X, you have to.
Because it didn't matter how fast; it just wanted you to keep tapping it.
Yeah, that's true. But the one thing I hated was the fact that when you were like aiming, you would move so slow in third person to aim, and then when you
Careful, Dan's aiming a controller at me.
when you were aiming though in Grand Theft Auto, you would move so slow. But then when you hit the X button while you were aiming, you would move pretty fast. So now instead of having to do this, and then aim and take my thing off the reticle, now I literally can map the X button to that, and I can play Grand Theft Auto
Dan was
comfortably.
making a motion of his thumb moving to the X button, and then compared that to tapping it on the bottom.
Well, at that point, you literally are just tapping that, and you can keep your finger on the aim button so that you can move faster and aim. So, but again, certain games, I was very frustrated with the controls. Grand Theft Auto 5 being one of them, so this allows someone to just change it, or again for certain people that I can't hit the triangle button like this. I'd have to do this. It just makes it that much. If like I said,
move your thumb like that on an axis.
Well, yes, but I'm saying some people might have
let me move my thumb going all around.
It might not
body.
be comfortable.
No, I know.
Say someone has arthritis or something, they can't do that. This might be a little bit easier for them.
But yeah, so it's $30 if you can find it in stores. If not,
yeah, it's going to be tough.
$120 for it on eBay.
Well, according to the guy at eBay, yeah,
My dad
at
works at
GameStop, he was telling me that these things are back ordered for a while. So he said, if you can find one at a store for the $30, it might be worth it. Even if you try it, don't like it, at that point, you still be able to get your money back and more. So, anyway, but need attachment if you
That
don't.
reminds me, I need to pre-order Final Fantasy VII so I can get that Shinra card.
Yes, you do.
Moving on to the thing we talked about 20 minutes ago, the Final Fantasy VII opening trailer came out, and It is awesome, and it's funny because we just discussed this last week about like, oh, are they gonna have the same opening? And they gotta have the same opening, and more or less they did. They just kind of expanded upon it.
I know they did the perfect thing where they kind of like made it better and expanded on it, but like kept the magic and like the kind of important, the core of what that intro is.
The Crisis Core.
I was just gonna say that.
Buzzing. Yeah. It and for the first time you actually see more. You don't really see. There was only like one little breath of air outside of Midgar. The rest of it is really still centralized in Midgar, but you see Midgar kind of how you did in Advent Children, where it was this like open city. It was all pre-rendered, but you gotta believe you can be able to like really get into the nitty-gritty of Midgar. Like I still fully believe that the reason that this is a multi-part remake is because they realized how big just Midgar was getting, and it's a multi-disc game. So if it is just Midgar is huge.
100 gigs. That is
clean up your
almost
PS hard
equivalent
drives.
to Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah, I think I might finally delete Fallout 4 off of my PlayStation. to make room.
That's gonna be
It's
tough to
one of those
download
games
all
that
the-
well, that's the thing. It's a huge download and one of those games that I do
What else do you
periodically
have
go back
on
to.
your PlayStation though.
I
I feel
delete
like-
things periodically.
Yeah,
But I was having an issue where I had like a lot of free space, and yet the
You have the Pro, right? So you have 1
Yeah.
terabyte of space.
yeah, but I was having that issue where what was that, Outer Worlds? Like it wouldn't download the update even though I had space for it. It was like this really weird situation. So I just like guerrilla deleted like a lot of stuff, and it still wasn't downloading. I forget how I solved the problem, but I still have a thick. It surprises me how much stuff takes up. Like I have to continuously remember, like, oh, I have these video clips that I don't need, or crap like that, or random apps that I download that I don't really need that keep having like large updates.
Well, games also keep updating too. Like,
Yeah.
well, so you're on there like, oh crap, what the hell's filling
But
up?
I'll delete a bunch of stuff. But Matt, what'd you think?
Yeah, I loved it. It was nice to see that kind of wide open, viewpoint of Midgar going through the streets and seeing how detailed it is. Just seeing how, like, it's not just, I feel like when you were playing the original, it's just the opening, it's just this great big city. But in this intro, you're actually seeing like all the people that are going through their day to day. So it really feels like a living, breathed in world where like, oh, these people actually have lives and they're going about their lives. And then, it kind of expands and it shows you how big the entire city is. And it kind of goes back, like it kind of zooms in slowly on your character to the kind of traditional intro to that game where you see, okay, here you're this small ragtag team going up against this giant corporation with this huge building you just saw across the entire expanse. So yeah, I loved it.
I've never really questioned this. It's always just been one of those things I've accepted. One of the things Aerith says in one of the trailers really stuck with me. It's completely out of left field. She called it the Shinra Power Company. And it's
Haven't
like
I heard that before?
I never
could've
heard it
sworn.
in the original game. But it's like, you think about it.
Kinda what it
Midgar
is.
is this town, but it seems like Shinra is the town. But then Shinra's also like kind of like the world police too. Like it's this like kind of weird political structure they have in this Final Fantasy VII world, and you're never really told to dig too much into it. But it was just randomly like the Shinra president was kind of like just the corporation president, but I guess he was also like the president of the world or something.
Yeah, they don't
too.
they don't really explain how this world works. And there's like
Was it
there's only
Rufus?
there's really only like
Rufus took over.
outside of Midgar, there's only like 8 towns in this world, and they're all pretty small with like a couple dozen people in
But
them.
then there's random Shinra reactors.
Yes, it's
And,
very.
like-
It doesn't actually work if you think about it too much. There's probably like
Yeah.
outside of Midgar, there's probably like
I
a few thousand people in this entire world.
Wonder how much that's going to expand. Maybe there's going to be new towns, new cities, new areas.
Yeah, or
A
just
bed and breakfast.
As long as it,
expansions
as
of
long as
all
it
the
doesn't
areas.
affect the core story, I think they'll maybe
But there
change
can't be
things
one
up.
disc. Sorry, there can't be one disc for every town if they if they do this though.
There
Well, I
could.
think Midgar is special because Midgar's probably going to end up being the central hub for the game. Not probably. I have an inkling that Midgar is going to end up being the central hub. Like, you're going to return to it a lot more frequently than you used to. Because if you think about it, you in the original game, you leave Midgar and you don't go back forever.
I think you'll have like a home base or something.
You don't ever go back?
Forever. Like, it takes a long time.
Oh,
Like, it
you're
takes
just
go back,
forever.
yeah.
Oh, it
It's
takes
being
okay.
dramatic. Yeah, you don't go back until they build that cannon in Midgar to attack one of the weapons that was attacking it, and that's the next time you go back. And then you can go back to it whenever you want, but you can only revisit the same few areas that weren't destroyed by the plate crashing. Oh, I can't wait for that cutscene. That's going to be amazing. I remember.
I can't wait to take a chocobo out in the open and just like ride them to like different fights. Because Final Fantasy 15, friggin' like you finally were able to take a chocobo and just run around with it, but the world was just
the online Final Fantasy too.
Oh well, the 15.
You won't be able to use a chocobo though if this is just in Midgar, because you don't get a chocobo in the original game until like
right outside
an hour, 30 minutes after,
just a bit after.
All right, then the motorcycle or something. Allow me to ride the motorcycle.
You'll get to do that.
Does he have the motorcycle to start the game, or is it only like
it's only for that one mission on the highway, and
he
then
just kind of steals it.
Yeah, he steals it out of the lobby, and then you never see it
just
again.
Magically has
he
its keys
steals it. You have that mini game where you're riding on the highway and hitting things with your sword, and then it's never seen again.
Yeah, you can.
That's so disappointing.
Oh, but he had it in Advent Children.
Well, you can use it
or
again.
A motorcycle.
You can use it again in the Gold Saucer on like a mini game. But
is Advent Children going to be canon at all?
It doesn't really matter. It takes place after the game, regardless.
Oh, it does. Okay, that's
Advent Children was 100% after the game.
Yeah, it was a couple years.
Yeah,
there was also an FF7 anime too, but I never saw it. I heard it wasn't that great, so I never bothered.
A lot of the non-FF7 stuff was not that great.
Except for
Crisis Core was one of those,
which is the one you can't.
Oh, Advent Children, I enjoyed for the time, regardless of how they ruined the characterization of the characters.
Okay, that seems kind of big.
Whoa! Out of the characters, I thought they did a good job with most of them.
No, Cloud was a whiny little bitch.
Well, that's one.
Yeah, and they just like
what about
they just kind of brought back
all the characters
for no reason.
Yeah, it didn't make any sense, but it was really cool to look at.
I love the two.
Was cool,
who's the two goofy guys? The
Rude and the other one.
Yeah,
one with red hair.
Yeah.
I should know.
Reno. Why do I know that more than
because I was thinking Rufus over and over again.
A lot of R's. But I thought they were great.
He took his glasses got smashed, and he took the second pair out of his.
Well, they were
great.
They were kind of a good like comic relief, because they kind of were like Team Rocket, like I'm gonna stop you, and they're like, obviously you're not gonna stop us.
Most of the issues with the Advent Children, I actually have the extended edition, which adds in like an hour of footage, but most of it was just Cloud being whiny. But the especially for like 2006, 2007, those like the animation and the fight scenes and everything like that's everything you weren't getting from Pixar at the time. So that was really cool. Getting way off track though. The trailer did everything I wanted, or the opening 5 minutes did everything that I wanted it to do. It's everything I see just makes me more and more excited to play this game, more and more cementing it as officially my favorite game of all time, even though I've never really strayed away from it being my favorite game of all time. I just feel like it's such a I don't want to sound like a nonconformist, but it just seems lame to have one of like the most popular games ever made be your favorite game of all time. You know, like it's almost like you want to find a diamond in the rough game. It's like, no, this is my favorite game, but it's like I got to be true to who I am. Final Fantasy VII is my favorite game. I don't get giddy about other games except for maybe like if there's a trailer for Breath of the Wild 2 coming out soon.
Yeah, so
in Animal Crossing.
But I think Final Fantasy VII was only a favorite to like the RPG fans that were going out. Like if it's just video games in general, unfortunately you're going to get the Call of Duty people, you're going to get but then you're going to get Super Mario, you're going to get those Final Fantasy in its own category, kind of like how Metal Gear Solid was for stealth. You know, is kind of like what Final Fantasy VII is to RPGs. Like it is the pinnacle
but it
of
also kind of
RPGs.
I feel like built that genre and brought the Western audience into it. Like before that, I hated RPGs. I was like, these are for dweebs. They're so slow.
There wasn't really a lot of them out. It was the first one to do with polygons.
Yeah, it was the first one that was kind of new, and it wasn't like
it ushered in that like PlayStation era of polygonal turn-based RPGs.
Well, wasn't this one of the first ones to incorporate like those really detailed like cutscenes or something?
Was the first. I mean, 97. PlayStation came out in 94.
So
that's a 3-year period. Maybe it wasn't even the first polygonal RPG. I keep thinking it came out earlier than it did, but I'm pretty sure it was the first one to have like cutscenes like that.
Yeah, and it was impressive at the time, and I think a lot of people with the new like cutscenes coming out, I think it was interesting for a lot of people. Like even if they weren't RPG fans, like wow, this looks good. Like I'm interested just because of like how good it looks. So and a lot of games can go off that if they're unique enough, and that game sure as hell was unique because I played that after 10. Yeah, 10 was my first Final Fantasy that I got into, and then the second one that he recommended was 7. He's like, all right, go. I was like, I'm going back 3. He's like, don't worry about it. They don't make sense. They're just their own thing. Yeah, they're each the Final Fantasy.
Independent continuities.
Exactly. So he's like, don't worry about that. You're not going to be confused. And so I played that and loved them both. And I think the only reason why I love 10 more than 7 just because I played it first.
Most people like the Final Fantasy they like the most is the one they played first. That's what I've heard going around from most people I've talked to.
I always seen, well, not even really fights. It's always clearly 7. And then it's a fight between 8 and 10. And then 9 is after that.
My brother-in-law goes against the grain because his first Final Fantasy he played was
oh, right. Okay, brother-in-law. I'm thinking.
You're thinking brother, straight up. No, this is brother-in-law, my sister's husband.
Okay, see, I was like, did something happen between you and Ashley you didn't tell me? I was like, might want to tell us that.
My girlfriend, whose name I don't normally use on the podcast. No, I'm not talking about her.
Oh, sorry, you can beat that up.
Where was I going with this? His favorite's 12. And he played the original in the 90s, but yeah, 12 was just one of those ones where it hit him in the right way, I guess, where that was his favorite one.
Is he into Playboy bunnies? Then maybe I can understand why. It's just a weird game.
You like the game. I mean, he is, but
weird.
But yeah, no, I'm super excited for the game.
We couldn't tell, you know.
See, they released it. They delayed it a month, so now we're gonna have to talk about it for 30 minutes for like 4 more weeks.
Yep.
So.
You say I could just talk about it for the full 2 hours of the podcast if I want.
I was gonna say we gotta, you know, when the game actually comes out, you guys are gonna play, you know.
I'm just gonna not talk about it forever.
we got like World of Warcraft. Like there's only so much.
So I guess we're just gonna go on a Sony tangent. We talked about the controller. Final Fantasy VII is a Sony exclusive. Now Sony is pulling out of PAX East due to I guess concerns about
coronavirus. Yeah, and PAX East is next week. It's the 27th through
not to mention
that weekend.
Matt and I had a lot of group conversations with different people today on this subject. One of our friends pointed out the fact that, you know, this was on a private convo on the side, but he's like, you know, Sony of America has their own team, their own people. I find it hard to imagine that they were all of the stuff that was going to be there was coming strictly from Japan, unless like just some specific VIPs couldn't be there, so they shut down the whole thing. Because Naughty Dog is an American.
Yeah, I almost wonder if they're kind of using this as like an excuse. Like maybe they want to save, like they're kind of too busy with their PS5, like what they're going to do for the reveal in the next, I would assume next month or so.
I don't know.
Maybe I'm reading too much into this, but like the coronavirus in the US, there's only like, you know, 24 or so cases.
I don't think it has to do with the US. I was reading up on the coronavirus in Japan today, and I guess the cruise that whole quarantine happened on, I guess was a disaster. I didn't really read up on the news with that. I just knew there was a ship of quarantined human beings.
Is everyone all right?
Yeah, there's a cruise ship that was quarantined.
Like
a Japanese
quarter
cruise ship.
Quarter of the people on the ship have the virus because one person did and it spread, and then they did not quarantine anybody correctly on the ship. And then I guess Japan itself, it now has cases, and there's a lot of no flying in and out of Asia going on. So I think that has a lot to do with it. So I don't know how much of the presence at PAX East a week from now was going to be strictly coming from Japan, because you figured PlayStation, kind of like Nintendo of America, is going to be there with their whole thing set up. You think PlayStation in their American division,
yeah, it's not a big enough showcase. It's kind of like a smaller thing for, you know, people that are playing games, not like for developers and kind of the news media.
In PAX East, is it really one of the big things that people reveal stuff? I mean,
last year it started with Borderlands 3. That's where the big reveal was.
So
for that.
It's a decent,
but not usually.
So at that point, maybe, like I said, they were like, you know what?
Usually it's E3 and PAX Prime, maybe, where things are revealed. It's not usually.
Well,
E3.
I know that I guess the beginning of March, you were saying, Matt, that they're looking to release more, like the full.
That's just what I would guess, because in the PlayStation 4, we learned that there was an announcement in like the first week of February that this was coming up on February 20th, and then on February 20th they did their kind of big reveal event where they had Mark Cerny come out and like a bunch of the people that made it and kind of talked about all the specs and everything like that and the games that were coming out. And so a lot of people were expecting that, and there were even rumors that it was going to be on the 5th earlier this month. And so like we're recording this on the 19th, so you know, by the time PAX comes, we'll have been past the time in the last generation when we learned about the new system. So there's a lot of like unease and like people just kind of waiting for this thing to happen. And there's really no guarantee that it's going to happen. It's just like a lot of people making assumptions, like how long can they wait? And you keep hearing these stories about, in the last generation they had the price point, the $400 price point pinned down by now, but it seems like they're kind of waiting to react to Xbox in some respects.
I know that I saw something about how they were struggling with price.
Yeah. So like,
Sony specifically?
Yeah.
they're struggling with where to put it.
Yeah, where to put the price. I mean, honestly, Sony, you
It is
have
gonna
this.
make a big deal.
It is going to make a big deal, but I mean, honestly, if you make it like $50 more or something like that,
From what I've read, it cost them about $370 to $380 to make each unit, which it makes sense for a $400 price point. That's what they did with PlayStation 4, where it was they only made like $12 off of each thing.
I think the PS3, especially after it originally launched at such a high price, they were actually, because they brought the price down almost immediately, and they were losing money on every system.
I think they might have been losing it off even the $600 version. But yeah, they were losing. I don't think they want to lose money if they can avoid it. But they can't really make a big profit off of these things because they're more concerned about just getting into people's hands. So I have a hard time seeing it not be $400, but
Really?
who knows? Maybe they could be $350.
if it's $400, that's like $100
I gotta
rebate.
be
Oh, sorry.
honest.
That's what I meant was I was surprised it not being $500.
Okay, yeah.
I got to be honest, I do take them at their word about it being about the virus, because I'm reading up just an article about the virus and about Sony pulling out, and they did cite that as the reason. I didn't realize there was 75,000 cases worldwide. I mean, just because there's only so few in America doesn't mean that things travel on planes, things America's been really careful about where they let in planes from and how they let in things. It could be anything.
Third world countries.
I'm gonna take them at face value on this one, to be honest.
I guess it just. I'm
just
like,
surprised they don't
there
have
next
an
week and
American division that can provide something.
Yeah,
there.
I'm just not concerned. Like the people that are attending this event are going to be mostly people in America, mostly people that live in the area. I'm sure there'll be some people from the West Coast that'll be flying out. But again,
No. Again, I don't think they're worried about the people that they will meet at PAX. I think everyone's kind of misunderstanding it as they think the U.S. has this virus and that they're going to get it by traveling. I think they're worried because they're in Asia and coming from Asia. My surprise was they already have people here on the ground who work for Sony in America. They could possibly put something together. I mean, Naughty Dog.
Yeah, but maybe the shift was just too late.
I mean,
So,
I don't know. I don't know
guess.
enough about how Sony or any of these companies do these shows, but I would imagine
Yeah.
most of the people would be US based anyway.
Yeah.
Like I don't, obviously they're kind of like English speakers primarily that are there. So it's like
Yeah.
I don't think it's a lot of people that they're kind of bringing over from the Japan head
That
studios.
surprises me. The fact that they don't want to travel from Asia, where this virus is originating and where there's a lot of stuff going on in the area, and it's spreading kind of sometimes rapidly, sometimes not. You don't know. I understand why they aren't traveling out of Japan, or if someone in Japan is not letting them leave. I understand that part. I just didn't understand why that they probably could have still had something.
Yeah, I'm
on
just
there.
I'm just surprised.
I'm actually relieved, because originally I was going to be trying to get to the Thursday day at PAX so super early to make sure that I was able to wait in line for 5 hours to play Last of Us 2. Now I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah,
So-
they had been saying like a lot of these games are going to be on display, including like the Final Fantasy VII, like a demo. So is that going to be?
Well, now I'm upset.
Is that going to be part of the? And I didn't read, or I don't know enough to know if that's not going to be involved, or if it's going to be, because there's going to be a big Square booth too that they always have.
Well,
And
yeah,
then at that
I was
point,
just
like, how long is that line going to be? Do I really want to wait in line hours for that?
I am.
I just
Matt,
hate
we're
that.
going for 3 days.
Yeah, but don't you hate that mentality of like you're stressed out, you're in line, it's going to be pretty cold, it's going to be like 30-something degrees, and everyone's going to be thinking, I got to get there first, and it's going to be a rush to this line, and then you get there, and they're going to be like, oh, it's capped, or oh, it's 5
Well, that's
hours.
why I'm going to try to do it on Thursday.
I just don't
but
wanna deal with that kind
the
of
lines
trying to-
do cap really early.
I just don't want to deal with like trying to rush people that are being rude and like cutting people in line and just
Yeah.
dealing with
So
all that nonsense.
Dan looks a little confused because he hasn't experienced this kind of convention. So basically, the showroom floor doesn't open up until a specific time. The actual convention doesn't open up until a
and
specific
it's like,
time.
what entrance do they let in first? There's like 6 or 7 different entrances, so you got to play
you
that
get
game. in
there
your head.
and you're in this
Ugh.
just large crowd of
No,
people just
no,
waiting to
thank
get
you.
into the convention. But then the showroom floor at the Boston Convention Center is really, really, really big. And for certain games, and you never know which ones are going to be capped early and which ones aren't. I feel like only the big events are capped off really early. Like the PlayStation booth normally has just a bunch of TV
I avoid
set
them
up.
all the time. I never go to any of these super long lines. So.
Yeah, so they cap really early because people book it there, and like you'll be there for a half an hour and the line's already capped. And they're not letting any more people line up.
It's like Disney on Christmas or something. It's
So dumb.
Well, I mean, it's because of certain demos where they only have a limited number of spaces, and the demo is a certain amount of time.
Yeah, you gotta think there's gonna be like 10,000 people there. I don't know. I'm making that number up, but there's a lot. Like there's thousands of people there, and there's maybe a dozen
TVs set up.
Yeah, there's gonna be only like a dozen TVs
sometimes.
to play those.
So
demos.
if I can play either The Last of Us 2 or the Final Fantasy 7 demo, if those two are available in some aspect, because you can kind of look at the map early, but it's going to be weird because I don't know what to trust now. If Sony is Sony going to have zero presence there? It seems like they're going to have zero presence. There's just going to be like an empty spot where they normally are. So I don't really know how they're handling that.
I read something on Twitter and they said they were gonna. It's mostly going to be just kind of empty space, but they're talking to nearby exhibitors if they want to kind of expand or anything like that. So it'll probably be mostly just empty
they probably
space.
Rented the space.
Yeah, I'm assuming Sony still has to pay for it unless they have some deal where they can just kind of back out. But who knows?
I still think I think Sony's making a mistake by not going to E3 though.
I don't think so.
I do because I was originally kind of on the side of, it's probably a smart idea. I mean, they can just do their online thing and still get the same word out, but you're not letting people, prospective buyers, prospective developers get hands-on with your stuff like Nintendo does, Nintendo Direct, but they're still at E3 on the floor showing their games, showing their stuff, showing their equipment, showing what the Switch could do. Like that was a huge seller for the Switch when it launched, was having that presence at E3. They always do like this huge thing every year for E3. Sony not being there twice in a row, I understood last year because you didn't really have much to show. Last year was kind of like a weak year for gaming, but now you're gearing up with these new systems. You're gonna, by July, you're gonna have that hardware announced. You're gonna have it shown. You're gonna have a price point by that point. You're gonna want to give people a hands-on. Xbox had that chance last E3. I guess they have a chance again to kind of take over that spot and give everyone like hands-on. But
they might not necessarily have the price sorted out because we didn't learn the PS4 price until E3 last time around. So they might be kind of holding their powder on that until.
But still, to get a hands-on with the system in the game.
Yeah, but who's
huge.
To say that they don't do? Because a lot of games do this. They invite people over and try it, and I mean, at that point,
the more hands-on, the better, though. The more people you have.
Yeah, but maybe
I just think
if you withhold till the last possible second. Grand Theft Auto 5 did this with gameplay. They didn't release any gameplay because they just knew that people were going to like it regardless. Then they at the very last second they released gameplay of it, and people were through the roof at the last second.
Because
and I feel like
last time Sony did this, they fucked up. That's why I don't like it. The PS3 launch was a complete fuck up because they thought they were bigger than the market. Yeah. They thought they could do no wrong. And I'm not saying I'm getting a PS5. I'm saying it right now. I was not going to be going to E3. I don't have the money to go to E3. I'm not one of the people who was planning on going. I was going to buy a PS5. I'm not talking about me in this scenario.
But the hands-on really matter now that when the PlayStation 3 came out, I don't know, was YouTube nearly as big? I don't think so.
PS3 came out in 2000. That was the year YouTube went big.
All right. So at that point, the hands-on thing might have affected it a little bit.
No. I was just talking about if the reason Sony isn't there is because they're under the assumption, it's going to be fine. You were saying with Grand Theft Auto 5, the reason they didn't, and I think a game and an entire system generation are two completely different things. I want to make that statement.
Yeah.
Right now, that's apples and oranges we're talking about, but same mentality. I understand where you're coming from. Fallout 4 did the same thing, but when the PS3 launched, they did this whole thing where the PS1 was a juggernaut that kind of surprised everybody, and the PS2 annihilated the competition, and they were like, we're fine. Everyone's going to buy it. Everyone's going to love it. And they had this really horrible marketing for it with these really creepy commercials with that baby doll or whatever like that. These really weird, creepy commercials. And then the thing was a mess. It was way too overpriced. They had 12 USB ports. I didn't need 12 USB ports in 2006. I don't even need 12 USB. Well, I might need 12 USB ports now. But on my PlayStation?
No,
2006
that was a bit goofy.
It was them getting a little too. It was the same thing Xbox did with this past generation. They were really feeling themselves a little too much. They crammed Kinect into the system. I'm not saying that's gonna happen. I'm just saying that's the feeling I get.
Oh, see, I feel that they're gonna start doing. I mean, Nintendo Direct does their own thing now, where they announce the Switch and they showed more gameplay of it. That sold me already, so I don't think it's gonna be nearly as much.
But
of
Nintendo
an issue.
is still there on the floor with the fans, with the developers, with the press, making face, talking to them, because people might have, especially with a new system coming out, developers have questions, magazines have questions.
Yeah,
Do magazines still exist?
they don't. That's why everything can be
Online
done
publications
digitally.
have questions.
Well,
like,
yeah, but
you know,
again, if they do their own event and they wait till the last second, they can steal the
not everybody's going to go to their own event compared to everybody who's already going to E3, though.
No, but I
What own event? Do they have an event?
they could. No, I'm saying they have the finances to do their own event. They do their own state of play now. What makes them think that they won't do like a whole?
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of the gamble they're making, that their kind of own conference that they're going to hold for an hour or two, whatever they did, like they did with the PS4, will be able to generate the same sort of attention that an E3 press conference could.
Oh, I think it would.
Again,
I think E3 is dying. I think it's just not nearly what it was. I mean, I'm not
Sony's the
that
only one
excited.
that pulled out.
Yeah, but I don't think Nintendo, like, no super duper huge announcements. Like, I feel like last year, I don't ever recall. Like, I remember E3 when Final Fantasy VII was announced. Like, that's when it was exciting. When everyone was there, the big announcements. I feel like all these companies, they announce these things, on their own. E3 is just kind of more of like a gameplay showing. Like, that's it.
No, that's true. But
So-
also, we don't know what it's like to actually be there on the floor, though.
True, but that was exciting.
From our perspective, yeah, the conferences have gotten really, Bethesda over the past 2 years has just been like unwatchable.
Yeah.
And then the past like 3 years, Nintendo's just been like owning completely
Oh, yeah.
with their, and they're not even like they don't even have a live conference. They just have like a video playing.
Yeah, so
But-
I mean, I do miss the whole crowd reaction. Like, I love Resident Evil 2 when it was officially announced. They had that trailer that starts off in like as a rat in like first person, and then it's scurrying around. You hear like scuffling in the background, and then all of a sudden, you saw Leon burst in, and you heard the crowd's reaction like go nuts. Same thing with God of
That's
War.
the same thing with FF7 Remake when they first showed that
Oh,
trailer.
went nuts! Yeah, people
I
went
went
nuts, and I
nuts.
love it. And the crowd reaction is exciting
Yeah.
too. Like it is something that I do miss. But I mean,
And not to get into the logistics of it, but I know like the way E3 is run and the people who own E3 or run it or whatever, I know that there's like a lot of issues with that. Like Sony, for all I know, might have like a lot of legitimate
it
reasons
could be
for
a
not going
cultural
there.
thing too.
It might be a price thing. I mean,
could be a price
costs
thing.
money to rent out spaces at this thing.
Yeah, save money, put it towards.
It just, as a gamer, I feel like I'm losing out on them not being there because that presence of them not being there was felt last
Yeah,
year
it's
for
a fun
me.
week every day. You get to see like a nice, sweet new press conference.
Yeah.
And, see what all the new games are. There's like a flurry of announcements every day.
But could you imagine like 3-4 months to go that they start releasing so much information like right at Christmas time and all this excitement for the last few, rather than, oh, hey, it's going to be backwards compatible. Oh, we know that now, but 8 months later or 6-7 months later, is that still
I
exciting?
think I would ever be more or less excited if it was July or October.
Plus, I feel like they got to start getting ahead of leaks because they're going to start having to manufacturing these things pretty soon, and they're
Yeah.
going to be like in warehouses, and you can't. A certain number of people are going to have to know about the features and what's going on.
And that's the thing. All right, so representatives from retailers go to these things. That's the type of thing I was talking about, and that's one of the reasons the Sega Saturn bombed so much is because they effed off the retailers by suddenly saying, "Hey, it's coming out 5 months earlier than it was supposed to. Oh, sorry, you don't have a heads up," and then multiple retailers decided just not to carry the system. That system was like doomed out of the gate just for that reason alone. Like you have to add. Again, I'm not saying that this is the reason that they're not going to E3, but for a certain amount of people, a certain subsect of people, some people might take it as a little bit of disrespect that they're kind of like saying like, oh, you're not worth the time, you're not worth the effort. I think that's a little. That's a little even.
If I was
reach for me,
I mean, I don't know what the bill is, that E3 sends
Yeah, it might
them,
cost a
but
lot. I mean,
it
it
might
is in
cost
LA.
a lot. And like I said,
Isn't it?
the state of play. It's got to be.
is it in LA?
yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Or is it
area.
someplace
but
different every year?
LA sounds about right, but
la la.
I don't know. But I don't know. Maybe, like I said, maybe they host their own event. Is there another E3 type thing that
There's GamersCon or GamesCon.
So it could be they could wait
I
till
don't
that.
feel like I ever hear anything about GameCon.
Maybe it's cheaper, and maybe
Maybe.
they're trying to start. I don't know. It could be anything, but I feel like they're a little bit more. I think they're a little bit more. They're smarter, and I feel they're still making the right decisions. Like they're not. They got all these games that they're releasing like right before exclusives. Last of Us 2, and they still got the Samurai game that's coming out. Ghost of Tsushima. They still have.
I'm not saying they're not smart.
Well, I think they.
I'm actually a little worried that we haven't heard more about the system yet.
I don't think I am because I heard a lot of stuff about March. If it gets to April and I don't hear anything, then
That's
I'll be
the
nervous.
panic button. No,
that would be my
I'm
panic
not
button.
saying
The end of March would be. Hey,
I'm not
I haven't
saying
heard a thing.
panicking, but especially Matt was telling us that there was supposed to be something early February, and that kind of just glossed over really quickly. It's like I don't know. There's something. I don't know if they're just playing like a chicken with Xbox right now. I mean
think they
that is what
probably
you're
are.
saying.
Kind of what it feels
but-
like.
I-
No one wants to make the first move, and they're kind of worried about how this is going to play out.
I think it's the
what do you
price
think they're
point
gonna
thing.
price it
And
at? I don't know. What are you gonna
think-
price it at?
And I bet Microsoft, considering they got their ass beat this generation, really has to be like, we really want to come in.
Microsoft really isn't taking the opportunity to really like oversell on their brand right now.
E3
either.
could be that change. For
That's
them.
what I said last year, and
Well, yeah, but last year they didn't have the system. I think it was smart to not go crazy last year with it. I think this year would be stupid for considering they're going to be the big thing at E3. They're going to announce, I guess there's more Halo that they're going to talk about a lot more than before.
I think last year was a really bad look for them. All they had were like pre-rendered trailers of things, and
Yeah, but
they didn't really. They like really forced us to know about the new Xbox being made, but didn't actually tell us anything about it. They just kept saying like,
Scarlett.
"Oh, it can do stuff."
Yeah, but I think last year, in the end, I think the idea of them purchasing so many of these companies, now these companies have been, in development of their exclusive games for at least a year and a half now, for potentially their next system. So at this point, this E3, I feel like, is the time to nail it. Last E3,
that's what I was saying though. Like, hey, Sony's not there again. Think back last summer, we didn't think Sony was going to be out 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
That's why I thought like last year was a complete failure. They had that chance. Sony wasn't there. Take the bull by the horns, and they had nothing.
Yeah, but if we knew we knew more information about the Xbox One, we'd still be all of us would be thinking about the PlayStation 5 and what they have to offer, like more interested in that. So I feel like again, this is the big one that they can say, hey, look, Ninja Theory, I think they purchased, or I always get them mixed up with another one. But this one that we bought, is working on this for the Xbox One.
Well, I mean,
Xbox,
if they don't
whatever the
have
hell
any
it is.
games to show this E3,
Absolutely.
There's-
Bomb.
well, they already said there's not going to be any exclusives for a year,
I know that one
except for
statement.
Halo, I assume. is
Yeah,
launching?
Halo was like.
It's probably launching for both systems, though.
I think that statement was taken a little out of context because I think they are going to make it for PC as well. That doesn't
Well,
necessarily.
they have all of Microsoft games are
So that
automatically
might
coming
be-
out to PC.
That's what they might have meant when they said exclusive. Like it's only on the Xbox. Like
I don't think that's what they meant.
why would they say that's a death sentence? Why would you say
The only other thing I had on the list to talk about today was there's a Nintendo Direct tomorrow.
that? Ooh,
It's all
Animal
right.
Crossing.
Animal
Direct.
Crossing.
God damn it!
Are you excited for that? I feel like that's a thing where like, okay, it's Animal Crossing. What more do you need to know about it?
That's why I'm not excited about it.
Yeah.
I
already know what it is.
I figured you would be.
I already know generally what the game is going to be. All right, so there's two parts of me here, right? There's the part of me that
The good Andy
already
and the bad Andy.
The good Andy and
I feel like they're both
bad
bad.
Andy. There's only bad. Bad to the bone. There's the part of me that already knows what Animal Crossing is, what I want from it, and what it's going to be, but that same part of me didn't like the last couple of Animal Crossings that came out. I didn't really take to the one for the Wii or the 3DS.
I really didn't like that. 3DS was the first one I played, and I really didn't enjoy
I
it.
loved the one. The one for the GameCube was a gem, and then the one for the DS was just amazing. You could, if you were right next to your friend, you could visit their town and everything. You know, because the
cool.
DS had the wireless stuff, and you could trade fruits and stuff like that. It was really fun. This one seems like, from what I saw, gives me kind of the idea or the hope that it's kind of going back to a simpler time for Animal Crossing. And it's not like I can really pinpoint what the 3DS one did differently that I didn't like. I just remember not enjoying it.
Yeah, for me, like as someone that likes to min-max those games, maybe it's just not a game for me, but I felt like I just ended up going to that stupid island, catching the butterflies that were worth the most amount of money, and then going back and then selling them to upgrade my house.
And that's the issue.
I just kept doing that over and over. I was like, this is not fun at all.
This sounds like work.
Yeah, that's what it felt like.
The normal game didn't have a separate island that you'd have to keep going back and forth between two. It was just one place, one habitat where everybody lived. You could find fossils, do fishing, catch butterflies, build. What I love doing about it was,
But why are you doing all that?
getting enough money
whoa.
to build your house bigger and bigger and bigger, and you could put arcade cabinets in there and then play the arcade games in your little home.
I just feel like this is real life. You might as well just...
Okay. Picture me as 13 with my GameCube and not having the...
but why are you interested now? That's surprising.
It just feels like too much like The Sims to me. Like,
Yeah.
What is a
like,
Sims game?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's more for the simulator type. Like, they want to see...
I don't think-
basically,
I
It's just not for me, I think. But it's...
I
so
lost...
popular.
It's kind of like a it's not for everybody.
Yes, maybe I'm
It's
getting it
for
confused
me
with
and
Harvest Moon.
13-year-old girls, you know?
I didn't want to say that, but yes.
No, it's just one of those things.
Oh,
where,
you
like,
two can be together with your Kingdom Hearts and your Animal Crossing.
Matt hates Kingdom Hearts, though.
Yeah, I just like was abused by Kingdom Hearts. I was in an abusive relationship with them. for,
Yeah,
like,
but I feel like if they announce another Kingdom Hearts thing, I feel like you'd be like, all right, let's
Matt,
do
if you
it.
buy another Kingdom Hearts game, I'm going to
I'm
smack
just
you.
frustrated because I'm such a fan of Square, like Final Fantasy games, and I'm such a fan of Disney. These two things coming together should be amazing, and they just somehow disappoint me so greatly.
But yeah, no, and I don't know. There's just something. It's not like I'm looking forward to it in the same respect that I'm looking forward to Final Fantasy VII or Last of Us 2. It's not like, oh my god, I cannot wait for this to come out. It's like, oh, I'm really excited for that to come out. I just want to like play it on my way to bed for a couple hours
Final
or so every
Fantasy
night.
7. I was going to say...
No, Animal Crossing.
You said Animal Crossing is not one of those gigantic...
Final Fantasy VII and The Last of Us 2 is like, oh my god, I cannot wait for those games to come out.
Oh, I didn't know Last of Us 2 was that for you.
Last of Us was like probably my favorite game of the last generation. No, wait, that came out in the PS3 originally. It was one of my favorite games of the decade.
Wow, okay.
How do you
I
feel
didn't
about,
know how you felt exactly about Last of Us. I knew, obviously, Final Fantasy VII you were nuts
Yeah,
about.
but like there's games coming out that I'm like super excited for. Animal Crossing, it's not like if I suddenly found out that this game wasn't coming out, I'd be like, oh, that's a shame. It's not like I would be like crying or anything. It's just like one of those like nice. It's kind of like Picross. Like I can play it on my way to bed. It's just this nice game. I love paying off my house and then building it up bigger and bigger and bigger. And like yeah, in 2003 when I had my GameCube and I didn't have like it's different.
Because now you have disposable income, and you can move on to other games.
Yeah,
you've got
back
other
then I
interests,
was
other
like,
things
you
to
know,
do, more,
relying
less
on my
free time.
parents, and I had this house and all these different furnitures, and you could it had all these like Nintendo Easter eggs. You had like Mario dolls, and like you could actually get. And then this was before any of the original NES games were available anywhere else. You could play Excite Bike in this game, and like stuff
That'd be kind of
like
cool
that.
if they had like a sizable Nintendo library that you could play in an arcade in your house.
There was like 10.
I feel like
There's
that
like
would be
10
tough
games you could collect
with the
Yeah,
e-store.
I
that
know.
was on the GameCube.
That would be tough.
Yeah, that'd be crazy if they had like N64 games in there or something. Like that'd be sick.
don't know.
That might make me actually would want to get it.
I don't know. Like you have to. It's not like just available for sale. Like you had to really like find them.
try it.
They're like
You had to find an arcade cabinet?
So
well, like vendors would travel to your town and sell things like special items like once a week.
oh, okay.
And it goes with the seasons. And everything. It's like just like a Harvest Moon type game.
I just have hard time with games that don't have like an
goal.
objective.
There
goal.
is just dicking around
Yeah.
with your
So
animal
it's
friends.
Minecraft type of thing.
Do you have any desire to play the new Doom game that's coming out that same day? Or are
Yeah.
you just like
I mean,
I'm totally
still
getting
haven't played the last Doom that came out.
Oh my god.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, like, I'm so excited for Doom that like it would be
Yes.
hard for me to have 2 games coming out of the Steam game that day that I
I
was
think it's
excited
because
about.
I have a large plethora of those types of games at my disposal that I can play, but I don't really have an Animal Crossing in my life right now. I didn't
It is definitely unique. I'll give it that.
buy the last few Pokemon. Like, I don't have that, like, just, like, nice, chill Zen game. I didn't buy the last... Picross is all I have. Picross and Picross 2.
Well, Doom is one of those mindless games. Like, you don't have to.
I meant just, like, nice, calming, relaxing, don't have to worry about, like...
Yeah.
Yeah, so Doom is.
Doom
one of
is
the-
extreme
Yeah, I don't-
monsters!
I don't think
blood
I can play that
muscles!
either.
Yeah, but it's a thoughtless game.
But
It's
you
like
couldn't really
Call of
play
Duty.
that for 20 minutes before bed to relax. You can play Picross
could.
or Animal Crossing pretty easily to relax.
See, I think Picross requires like thinking like a Sudoku puzzle. That requires a lot
Okay,
of thinking.
Oh, Doom
Picross
got-
is slow-moving, gentle music, calming atmosphere. Doom is extreme guitar riffs with blood and alien guts going everywhere. Awesome, yes,
It
relaxing.
could be
No.
It's a matter
Dan,
of
no.
perspective. I think so.
Okay.
A lot of people play Call of Duty to relax.
My perspective is completely wrong, different than yours.
That's what I'm saying. It's a matter of
Picross is a lot like Animal Crossing, where it's this like nice, gentle, calm game you can play. Even
'Cause
Final Fantasy 7, because Final Fantasy 7 is pretty bright, pretty
'Cause-
slow, not that extreme. Doom is you have to,
Yeah, that'll get your heart.
can't just
pumping.
fucking
Oh, see,
sit on the ground.
But I'm thinking. Well, I'm thinking if I'm playing it from my bed, I wouldn't be like.
I mean, yeah, if I was stupid, I could still play it. That's not what I'm getting at.
No, but I played Tetris 99, and that I mean
That's
it's supposed
kind of
to
like,
be.
that's the same thing in the vein. Like, yeah, you have to go. I mean, it's kind of, but it's like
That's what I'm thinking
It's just
about.
a bright, simple puzzle game, though.
Yeah, but essentially that's what Tetris is, a bright, simple puzzle game.
That's what I
But
said
it's-
Tetris just
Oh, I think you're
was.
talking about Animal Crossing or Picross. See, that gets me more than like playing the Darksiders or anything like that. Like,
Dan, your heart races when an animal crosses the road. I don't think you're the one to telling me what should calm me and what shouldn't.
well, that's what I'm thinking. Like, when I play a game like Call of Duty, like that doesn't get my blood. Like, yeah, if I'm playing like the main,
Oh, I've seen you get angry at the game.
I get angry at it. But
Get angry every time someone has a certain clan tag you don't like.
yeah. Anyway, I know you get upset with the.
I do, admittedly, which is why I'm not playing it in bed right
I know,
before bed.
but
anyway,
but you're
anyways.
not playing multiplayer. You're playing the campaign.
For what?
Doom.
It's still...
Okay. Anyway,
Anyway,
we gotta play.
Animal Crossing is just this like nice, calming Zen game, and I don't have that in my life right now outside of Picross, and I guess Final Fantasy VII kind of meets that bar. But
And part of that's just because you've played it so much, like it's not. You can kind of somewhat zone out, as in like you can
Yeah.
just kind of relax and do things.
yeah,
you've already
like,
done it a dozen times.
I'm trying to think of all the games I have right now because Link's Awakening I already beat.
Did you beat the Zelda for the? No, right. You have a bunch of Zelda games you could play. That's pretty.
I still really want him.
Not all of them
not
are
mindless,
handheld.
The
but
one game I really want you to
no,
play
but
is
the one for 3DS, the what's it called? The one
Majora's
where
Mask?
no, the one where you become
Phantom
flat.
Hourglass. Oh, Link Between Worlds.
Yes.
Can't play that one yet. It's on the timeline yet.
I mean, you already broke the timeline.
Anyways, for my Switch, like I don't have like a lot of most of the Switch games I've already beaten that
All
I
right,
have.
I'll get you
so
Celeste for next week.
I'm gonna have Animal Crossing. Oh wait, that's not for like another 3 weeks.
it's March 20th.
Oh, then I won't give you Celeste. You'll never beat it. You'll play Animal Crossing first, so forget it.
Well, if you give me Celeste next week, I'll have time to play it. But I'm playing Final Fantasy VII right now,
Yeah,
so
don't worry about it.
You should play the one game I want you to play.
Resident Evil 2.
Yes, Dan wants you to play. So many
absolutely.
Games. Dan
Screw
wants
it.
you to play
Screw
so
it.
many games. I want you to play
No, screw
the
it.
Manabar
No, yeah, play
podcast
it,
game
yeah,
of the
screw
year
that. Fuck that.
2019.
Okay, how about
We'll just
this?
play- no, Resident Evil 2.
We're gonna do something different.
We are.
We're gonna do something different.
What are we gonna do? We're gonna watch Andy play
No.
for the gameplay.
That would be fun.
Each week, you guys should give me a homework game to play.
Yeah, but
you're not gonna beat a game in a week.
Yeah, you're not gonna.
I'm not going to beat a game. In a week.
Celeste would be a game you could beat. In
You
a week.
beat a game in a day, Matt.
I didn't want to embarrass you. Yeah, I beat a game in a week.
Resident
I didn't say I had to beat it.
Resident Evil's tough, but like Celeste is quick. Like that's a pretty quick game.
I'm
that
just
you
saying.
play.
I didn't say I had to beat the game in a week. Just every week, hey, Andy, you have to at least try to play this game and see how you like it, and not just play Call of Duty for hours.
All right, fine. So going forward,
By the way,
this
Dan,
week,
do you want to play Call of Duty tonight when you get home? A little bit.
no, I gotta play. I gotta finish Rise of the Tomb
A
Raider.
little bit of Call of Duty though.
I'll play a round or two, but I gotta get
Play
Rise.
like 10.
No, Only if I do really bad at the last one, I have to, or you do bad, or it's Crash, or it's yes. I know it's
if we either play tonight and don't play Friday night, or we
How about
don't
this?
play tonight and we play Friday night.
How about this? I'll play 2 rounds of Call of Duty with you, but you have to start Resident Evil 2 tonight.
Tonight?
Yes. It's a game that you literally get to the police station.
I'm
save.
not doing Resident Evil tonight. I have to produce the podcast tonight.
Yeah, but
I do that in between Call of Duty matches.
all right. Well, push it and play Resident Evil 2 tonight.
why don't you just tell me to play Resident Evil 2 on Friday?
All right, fine, play it.
Why does it have to be tonight?
Because I don't think you'll play it, and you'll
Okay.
forget. Will you push him, Matt, to play it on Friday? You have he has a copy, right?
Yeah.
So you can play it. All right.
We can't get Matt to play anything, though.
I will ask him gently.
Install it tonight.
Andy.
I asked you today to install it tonight and have it ready with the updates and all that jazz.
Okay.
Okay? So you get it installed
That's
tonight,
fair.
and then Friday you play it. And then next week, you at least have to have tried it enough to
Yeah, that's all I said. I didn't have to beat it in a
okay.
week.
So I'll take control back. And then
To be fair, I did get like at least a third of the way through that game. It's not like I didn't play
so you got enough to judge it.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
It's one of those
stinks 'cause
games where unless I
the
play it-
ending was neat.
Well, it
but
just sucks because unless I play it like immediately, I already kind of forgot everything that happened because
I mean, I don't even know what the hell happened.
right,
All I
there you
know is
go.
the ending
I think
message
I've
was nice.
played enough of it.
Okay.
where I'm fine not beating it.
Well, when officially does Animal Crossing come out?
20th.
March 20th.
March. Oh, okay. Then good. You do have time. So homework is to do Resident Evil.
To also beat Final Fantasy 17 and Crisis Core as well before April.
All right. Well,
Well,
Crisis Core.
all right, hang on. Animal Crossing is not a game I'm going to be playing every night for 5 hours.
Yeah, it's not a game you like need to beat.
This is a game I'm like bringing to my girlfriend's house to kind of play while she's playing her shitty ass
that's-
Kingdom Hearts game, or when I'm on a plane ride, or when I'm just in bed for like an hour every
I
night.
feel
It's
like-
kind of like a phone game in that respect.
Well,
where
that's
it's
what.
like,
Yeah.
you have to
That's
play
what
every day.
that's what Celeste is. Celeste is one of those games that you play it for an hour and you get to because it's all platforming. It's all platforming for the whole game. Okay. So
I feel like Celeste is a game that I could chew into at any time, though. It doesn't have to be like at night when I'm on my way to bed. I play Switch games at any time of the day.
yeah, but it's one of the. At least that's how it was for me. Every night I wanted to just play a little bit. It was addicting enough.
You
that-
had 80 other games you were playing.
yeah, but I still finished Celeste because it was that good.
No, but that's why you were only playing it for those little subsects of time. Anyways, do we have anything more? Now we're just kind of talking in circles. Do we have anything more we want to bring to the table? Any other news happen that we want to talk about?
No, not really. I'm good.
No, I think I'm good.
I am good as well.
So,
I don't know
Andy-
if I'm gonna watch. I'm probably gonna end up watching the direct just to like get the gist.
Yeah, see if there's any big
I want to
changes.
see if there's like any new features or adding if
Metroid.
they're, yeah, okay.
At the very end. Come on, cross fingers.
Watch. This will be the one where they do it.
Well, if I say it for every single one, eventually I'll be right?
And with that, this is the Collector, the Trophy Hunter, and the Completionist. No, I'm the Value Gamer. Logging off.